waits to buy. Show me the tree. Muting Matt. Quit muting me, Matt. Stop. I don't give a fuck if it's the intro shit. Because I want this goddamn show.
Hey man, it's Kevin Smith.
Hey, this is Jay Music.
Hey, I'm Scott Snyder.
I'm Cena Grace.
And you're listening to
the Absolute Geek.
The Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek Podcast.
Check it out, Snoogans.
Hey.
Friday night in Phoenix. You're listening to the Absolute Geek Podcast.
Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens. It is Friday night in Phoenix, and you're listening to the Absolute Geek Podcast. I am Matt.
I'm Show Me the Trump Money.
And I'm the Grizzled Corbin. The facts.
And Brian will be joining us here in a little bit. He's gonna do the Hot 10 first and kick it off because we got a special guest coming on tonight that we said we were going to get last week. Around in a little bit, Jesse James from Jesse James Comics, local here, is going to be joining us to have an in-depth discussion about what it's like selling comics during this weird, strange little time we're in. But until that, we're gonna have some goodness.
Until that, we'll see you guys later.
Yeah. How you guys doing? How you guys been? I see that Corbin's sporting a little bit of the quarantine cut there. He's got to get that fro cut. You posted a picture on Facebook earlier today, your new profile picture, and I was like, man, he looks like he's homeless or an NFL star. I can't decide which one it is.
Yeah,
that hair. I'm used to you being on point with the fade and the designs and that fresh beard, and you're just letting it go, huh?
I mean, I've given up hope. You're right. I mean, the barbers are, they're closed, and I don't trust myself to cut my own hair.
Dude, I'm a kick-ass barber. Come on over.
Hey, Kyle, you're tempting me with I'm going to be there. Like,
no, you don't want me to cut your hair at all.
No. But like, I'm letting it grow out, and it's looking scruffy, and I'm sitting there going like, let me just show people the real me, because right now it's everywhere. It's a mess to cut. It's a mess to
the real me.
I'm just, you would have thought the Trump bucks would have got me a haircut, but no. Got me a car though.
There you go. What kind of car did you get?
Show me the Trump.
It's a car. It's a '98 Altima.
Dope. It'll last forever.
It has a sound system. Oh, I'm pumped about it. It's a stepping step for me, but like, boom, I just need wheels, and so I'm happy to have that. By doing that, I basically let go of many haircuts, and so here I am. Meanwhile, Mac, you're so clean shaven, and Kyle rocks this. Like, Kyle keeps saying that. So how do you stay? Do you just constantly keep at it, Matt?
See, I just have this perfect thing called white trash. So like, I'm not clean shaven at all, but mine.
You got the trailer park beard.
Yeah, mine doesn't grow very far, and it's all blotchy. Like this side is like it grows in patches. So I've got the Kid Rock going. So most of the time, I just let it. I keep it trimmed down because it looks terrible, and I can't grow a mustache. I get like a pedo mustache. It's like one of those like weird like pencil thin. It almost looks like I've just drank some chocolate milk and it just stuck on my upper lip. So it doesn't work.
Oh my goodness, I feel you though. Not everyone can pull it off, but you keep it consistent. That's good.
Yeah, gotta keep it tight, high and tight, right? That's what we do. That's what we do. Well, so I just want to kick the show off tonight with a little bit of breaking news that came out when we were going live here, is that Marvel Comics just announced they are furloughing their comics division along with other divisions. So that kind of goes along with the story that they weren't going to be putting out comics at the end of the month like everyone else is. It's kind of weird because you hear about how everything's on the downslope and they're talking about opening up states and starting to slowly open things back up, but you're still seeing more and more companies at the tail end of this laying people off and furloughing. And It's going to be interesting to see how that
It's
affects.
still just going. You can't.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the comic book industry too. And
I'll let you know how it's going to affect it
For real.
right now.
Please.
If there's no Marvel, there's going to be no Marvel comics.
well, right.
That's how it's going to affect the
Thanks.
comics. You won't be able to go get fucking Spider-Man
You're right.
and X-Men.
You're right. you
That's. I
Well,
will predict what
can you
this
be
is.
more
Wait,
popular?
no. This is what I'm going to predict. What's going to happen? You're going to walk into a comic book store. There's not going to be any Marvel. There's
Right,
going to be a big gap. I mean, look at that, dude. Fucking nailed it. Fuck you, everybody. I nailed it.
But
You know what's going to happen? They're not going to be fucking there.
what's it going to do to Diamond? How is it going to affect Diamond, who's supposed to be
Fuck
reopening in a
Diamond.
few weeks?
They got there's other comics to ship.
Well, let's talk about that too. So DC, the longer we go and the further we get into this dual publishers thing and shippers thing,
Dual publishing. Yeah, bitches.
so how is this gonna? The big debate became this
Who's
week.
going to have
of
dual publishing?
how DC? How is this going to affect or dual distribution? Sorry. How does
Oh, shit.
how does this affect the
Go to
value of the
Grizzly
number
Geek for the
one?
Facts.
Yep. How does this
Yeah.
affect the value of the number one? Which is the true number one? Because a lot of the books that are coming out at the end of the week are sitting in Diamond warehouses, already printed and ready to be shipped, but were never shipped. And now they're doing this new distribution deal with these two other companies. Where's the true? Which one's the true number one? The one that's already printed and sitting
They
in the
all will
warehouse,
be.
or the
They
Are
printed
they
them
all
all at the
printed
same
at
time. I'm sure they printed them all at the same time because they have their own printers.
well, no,
so they-
because but the
What do you mean? Well, no.
they printed all that stuff and
What do
sent
you
it
mean,
to,
well, no?
to DC and then
Here,
reprinted.
I'll let everybody in on a
They
comic book
reprinted-
secret.
They reprinted to do this
So
new
let's hear it.
distribution deal.
So what you do to know that if it's a second print, comic books have a barcode,
What?
and I'm going to let everybody in on this little comic book secret.
Okay.
There's a barcode,
All right.
and if there's a 1 at the end, that
Uh-huh.
means it's the first print.
No.
And if there is another number there, that means it's not. That's
like-
how we'll be able to tell.
But they're not gonna. You really think they're gonna print them as a second print? No, they're gonna do it like it's a first print. But you're gonna have that debate, just like you have the debate over
then it's the
everything
first
of what
print.
the true first print is. Is it gonna be the stuff that Diamond distributes, or is it gonna be the stuff that these other two companies?
It's all going to be a first print, just like back in the day if you got it from a comic book store, if you got it from Circle K.
right. But that they were still coming from
they
the
were both first
same
print.
distributor, though.
Will Circle K
Were
be
they?
selling comics? That's interesting.
Were they then?
Well, I'm assuming
Oh.
so.
Are you sure?
Were they?
Do we have to go to Grizzly Geek for the facts?
Let's go to Grizzly
I
Geek
mean-
for the facts.
Well, I'm in his stead right now. Grizzly Corbin is here. Grizzly Geek is in spirit. What are you asking? I can do my best to answer.
When comic books used to go to grocery stores and Circle K's and 7-Elevens, there wasn't one distributor. There was more than one distributor.
I'm pretty sure it's multiple distributors.
And over time, it became one distributor.
Now down.
The only difference was there was a direct edition and a store edition.
Right now, Kyle's speaking the facts.
But now it's just going to be, even if two people ship it out, a first print's a first print.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have the other stuff on different type of paper because they're technically not first prints because they went back and reprinted these issues to put out through this other distributor.
I think but is it going to count as a first print? What you're saying by the whole
it'll
technically
be a
everything,
first print.
Out as a first print, it's going to be a first print. Delays and everything.
The
are gone.
paper's
And-
different. Means it was
Yeah,
printed later.
exactly.
So I'm calling
Not to
this
take that
the
market of all
second
that.
print.
With as petty as
Let's see.
CGC is, and you know this, you don't think there's gonna be an asterisk next to it where it says
No.
first print and asterisk
Then they might
because
as well
it's
do
not,
that.
from, it's not from
They might as
Diamond.
well do that. Okay, Grizzly Geek said the first to be available will be first print for collecting.
It depends what the barcode says. Just like back in the 90s when they didn't go to second, a lot of them didn't go to second print. They just printed more first prints.
Yeah.
It's still a first print
So does
until
that,
they say that it's a second print, and they run a second print. It's a first print.
So we talk about the bubble. We always reference the '90s bubble. Is this
Okay.
is this going to start
they're-
a new '90s bubble?
But what they're not. But the thing with the 90s bubble is, and I'm just tired of saying it, is in the 90s they just kept printing them and printing them and printing them and printing them.
Right.
Now they're printing a comic book run, and now because of a global pandemic, they're just printing enough to keep going.
But now
So
essentially,
it's not creating a bubble.
now
because they're not-
essentially though,
Now they're not going to keep printing them, so that you're comparing apples to oranges right now.
but now essentially DC's going through two to three different distributors to distribute comics.
That means just the print runs are going to be bigger. So instead of it being 350,000 Batmans were printed, they're pushing it to 500,000. It's just making the print runs bigger. That's all it's doing. Can't go, well, technically, since Lyman is the other distributor, that's a second print because it's a Lyman. That's not how they do things. That's not how things are done.
I mean, I get what you're. I'm stepping in what you're laying down, but I still think that there will be some discussion. Yeah, there'll be some discussion. There'll be some debate. There'll be some sort of conflict between this book wasn't distributed by Diamond, therefore it's not a first print, or versus this book came out first.
If the book says it's a first print, it's a first print. Who cares where it was printed from? Who cares what? So it's like saying, oh, the other beer distributor now brought the beer. That's not the same beer, even though it has the same label and the same bottle. Oh, a different company brought it. That's not the same beer. Is it?
It's
the same beer.
But I think. But aren't you?
So if the barcode is the same and the barcode says that it's a first print, then why would it be a second print?
It's always the same beer. Always.
I think you both have.
But you see, it's
points that are equal.
creating a bubble because they're going to print more. Well, they're going to print. I think they're doing what they need to do to continue afloat. If that's what it takes to keep getting comic books to people, then
well, it's causing a lot of turmoil in the industry right now. A lot of people are choosing sides between
Walking Dead first print. There's a black labeled one and a white labeled one. There's no asterisk on that.
But they're from the same distributor, though.
But they were printed differently. They were printed at different times. What's the difference?
The distributor.
Why would the distributor?
I think that
all the distributor does is the middleman. It takes it from this person and gets it to this person. That's all a distributor does.
I just think
they don't print. The distributor doesn't print anything. The distributor doesn't. All they do is they're a middleman.
So, but that's the whole thing with this.
That's all they do, though.
So DC printed these books up, and they already sent them to Diamond. They're sitting in the Diamond warehouse. They had to go back to find a new printer because those books are already printed, reprint, and then now they're distributing through another company.
They're
so
still
technically,
first prints, though.
There's
no technically about it. It's still a first print. The difference will be like 35-cent variants versus regular ones. When they did the 35-cent variants in certain markets, those books might be a smaller print run from the new distributor than through what Diamond had. So they might be a little bit more sought after just for the fact of there's a smaller print run for that book. Just like when you look for the books with the barcodes from back in the day, and you're not looking for the direct editions, those ones are a little bit more sought out. That might only be the difference.
But so you don't think that it's going to be like a hotter commodity for that book going from this other distributor, like the newsstand, non-newsstand? People want newsstands. People look for non-newsstands. So I think it's going to cause a little bit of turmoil.
That.
You're cutting out. What?
So I just said all that.
I think my internet's dropping. Hold on a second.
Well, Corbin's segment.
That's all I'm saying is it's a first print is a first print. All a distributor does, though, is they're not printing them. They're not doing it. Just they get sent to a distributor, and the distributor makes sure they get to where they go. That's why they're called a distributor. They distribute them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. I know.
Well, Obviously, you don't, because you're saying that
Well, I think
they're going to print books and stuff like that. They
No,
already
they already printed more books. They went to a different printer than what they used before because that printer's closed. So these are new, freshly printed books being distributed before the what was printed before. Because this is causing a huge discussion and fight in the community right now.
Always cause that discussion in the community because that's what that, especially concerning, like you're saying. One saying it's plain and simple, it's printed, one distributor, it's boom. The other saying, okay, well, people find a way to cause a controversy over. But the bottom line is that you're right, that's going to happen. Now, is ever going to see it as clear cut as Kyle sees it? Probably not. And therein lies the question and the discussion.
But it's pretty clear cut, though. It's just like Coke. There are distributors everywhere for Coke.
Whoa,
so the Coke that you get from
you mean Coca-Cola.
One store is distributed from another one. Is there a difference?
Well,
you go. Yeah, this one's from the Arkansas plant.
But the problem is people aren't like that. And
but that's not different distributors. They're distributed by the Coca-Cola company, but they're just in different locations. So what you're saying is like if it was Diamond in New Mexico versus Diamond
distributed
here.
by Hensley, or not by Hensley, there's another company that distributes beer, and you can't tell which one they came from.
Well, yeah, they're all being made in the Anheuser-Busch.
There's different plants, though. There's different Anheuser-Busch plants.
But you're taking it so literally, and like Corbin was just saying, not everyone's going to see it as clear cut as you are.
It's pretty clear cut, though.
But what I'm trying to say is, I agree. We're not disagreeing with you. We're saying, watch next week's time, whatever, it's going to be a discussion because
it already is. That's the reason I brought it up is because it's already a huge discussion.
Well, there you go. So you can plead definitely it's clear, guys, and you're right. But how many things? How do we know out there, comic related or otherwise, that should be very simple and people don't understand? Especially when it comes to collecting and things like number ones and distributors, people just get fired up for literally any reason. So like this debate will continue, even though what you're saying makes perfect sense. I get what Matt's saying in the sense that this conversation are happening and they're not going to go all of a sudden, you know what? That makes perfect sense. Distributors, it's not going to click. It's just not going to click. It only goes down from here. So I get what you mean, but
it's pretty cut and dry, though.
But then you would think that, but then you have people out there like our buddy Rob Liefeld, who when you look at a first appearance, it's the first time a character appears in a comic book. Then you got Rob Liefeld going, well, no, that's not his first appearance. His first appearance isn't that annual issue that came out. It's my issue. That's the first appearance. So it runs along the same line as that. Like not everyone's gonna throw it down as clear cut as you're laying it out. I understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying
it's pretty easy.
It is a debate right now.
It's just like, okay, like a spot number one, you're not going to go, oh, that was the fifth wave. I don't want that one. Do you know?
Do you know what? I guess I'm not following what you're dropping.
Okay, how many? So there's there was 1 million spawns printed.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do it all at once. They did it in waves, and so it was selling out.
Right.
It would sell out. Everybody would reorder it. So you don't look at your spawn book and go, ew, this was the fourth wave of spawn books. I don't want that. It's technically a fourth print. You don't do that. You have no idea. You have no idea when it was printed. It's just you just know it's a first print, right?
Right. But like I said, it's already causing a debate through the community. Comic book creators are taking sides on it. There's people standing with Diamond over it. It's already a huge thing. So there's something there's clearly something that's not as cut and dry as you're laying it down. I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying from the standpoint of the way it's being viewed, it's not being viewed as cut and dry as you're laying it down.
But it is. It's just a reason to bitch. It's really what it is.
That's all people are looking for. I mean, come on now. We got people doing that because my roots are gray and I need the haircut. So, I mean, people
just
are doing
a reason to bitch.
That's gonna happen.
I like that ego boost. Oh, my roots are gray and I need the haircut. So people
I need
are
the
bitching.
haircut. So we're gonna it's people going crazy out here.
Nope.
Did
Corbin
y'all
doesn't
see
get a haircut? That's the side I'm on.
Oh,
That's the controversy.
That's the
But the funny thing
controversy
is,
that Corbin doesn't need a haircut.
I knew Marvel was doing this when they said didn't they say around like this afternoon that they weren't going to do new release next week, print or digital? And I was like, not digital at least.
Yep.
And then this news out hour later. I mean, my question is, we talked about this, and I think it's good that we have this discussion. But in terms of comics in general, how if Marvel is furloughing their employees, boom, DC, who knows what they're doing? Like, yeah, we can look at the long-term future comics, but what with the short-term future comics? What's going to happen? What are we doing?
Not buying comics.
Well, I mean,
or buying comics off of Kyle.
Dude, I got them for sale, man.
This is where you get your back issues right now, I guess.
Selling some shit right now.
Get your back issues from Kyle, where you too can buy a sweet Spider-Man 300 signed by one and only Todd Father.
That is sick.
Get him from Kyle. But
I'll admit it was a little hard to hand it to him.
You know, it looked so. I saw it on Facebook and I was like, "Whoa!"
It's a nice book.
Yeah, it looks good though. Like it's one thing. Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to get to that level where I can put some good books up right now. You know what I mean?
But short term, to answer your question, short term, I think they're. I don't know. I don't want to say they're screwing the pooch, but Diamond's trying to open and DC's trying to distribute. But the problem is a lot of these shops aren't opening, and who knows how long it's going to be before they let them open.
Yeah, but a lot of shops are doing curbside pickup, so
yeah.
And another thing,
go get your books.
Well, I mean, up to the ones that aren't being made anymore. Even then, are they in the meantime? Between time, there's this gap right now as they're transitioning to saying, okay, we might be here for a while. But will comic book stores continue? Will they open up eventually? I'm assuming so. And if so, what is just continued flow of back issues? Like, it's not even about the stories at this point, because of course, no stories with them. But like the future of the shops in and of themselves. Oh,
it's going to be hard for them unless you're. What you need to do in this time, and this is what I'm going to get into with Jesse when he comes on in about an hour.
I'm very excited. Okay.
This is where we're going into right now will be Jesse conversation. So
okay,
you bring this up. You bring that exact question up when we're talking to Jesse, and he will be like Grizzled Geeks. He's going to give you the facts.
Give me the facts. That's all. Okay, I get you. I got you because that was something I was interested in. Also, did y'all see the Marvel Unlimited is basically bribing people to read Civil War?
Yes, I did see that.
What is that about?
It's because they're trying to gear people up to get them behind their whole crossover stuff again, because the reputation.
They're doing another Civil War?
No, but they're bribing people online. If you go on Marvel Unlimited and read Civil War, you get like 1,500 Marvel bucks or something like that to spend to buy digital comics in there. And it's because they're trying to get people to be behind their events, their annual big events again, because people have fallen off on them and their sales on their big event books
are why does it matter?
Falling off. Well, right. So
that just sounds stupid.
But that's to answer Corbin's question. That's the whole thing they're doing is they're just trying to draw interest into their big books again.
Yeah, it's just I get you. I mean, I guess that's what all of them are gonna. That's what all of them are going to have to do. What is it called?
Sorry to interrupt you.
Like go back to their classic ones. Like stress on read these, huh?
I was gonna say, Tim just hit it in the chat right there. The problem is the shops can't afford to buy these books because they had already paid for the same book from Diamond 3 months ago. So that's where the distribute is,
So what they're gonna do is if they can get them in their hands quicker and they can get them out, what's gonna end up happening is, and this is what we were talking about with Fantastic World Comics, is they're gonna have to buy some, and then they're gonna have to sit on extra inventory because either wait to get it because they've already told Diamond, yes, I'm going to buy those just in case. Like it ended up only being a 3-week thing, this stupid fucking virus. But if there's a chance to keep selling books, you're going to buy them and you're going to start selling them to your customers. And there's just going to be a small gap of where you're just going to kind of have extra back issues and you're just going to have to sell them off for cheaper. Just back stock and wait for them to get big, but unfortunately you can't. I mean, you just can't order anymore, and then you'll just have to pick up later. I don't know how that works because I'm not a comic book store.
That'd be a good question to ask Jesse. Then is how that ordering works and like how all of this would affect a shop's ordering and everything like that to get into that, touch that base with that shop, even though he doesn't do new books, but he's like
He knows.
He knows from experience. So, but what were you saying, Corbin? Before I interrupted you, I just kind of wanted to get that out before we changed topics here.
No, you're fine. I was saying that I could see more. I mean, that's another. I don't know if we're going to get to that now or coming down in the future. What is going on with DC Universe? Like, is that still good with HBO Max like pushing it out? And I hope I get like good info from you either way, because I'm thinking about like re-upping for my DC Universe, and I don't know if I should do that.
Go to Grizzle Geek if you want to know.
Okay, I listened to them a little bit today, but I think I asked the question just as they were transitioning.
Listen to that. He's like, I listened to them a little bit today.
I was on it. I listen. I'm not always on the chats.
No, I do have to shout out Grizzle Geek real quick and say, guys, if you enjoy us and you're looking for something to tide you over till we go live, check out Grizzle Geek Friday nights. They shout us out and tell their audience to come check us out after their show.
And they don't.
Definitely check them out at 6:00 on YouTube. They're an entertaining show. Also, but to answer your question, I think the DC streaming service is going to be Marvel Unlimited. I think their content is going to start going to HBO Max and Sci-Fi. And you're going to have
all the DC content will be on Marvel.
The DC Online will just be for the comic stuff.
Well, that's what I was hoping would happen anyway, because here's my thinking. And this is why it's so weird. It's like, from the comic book guy, you have Unlimited for the Marvel comics. You have DC Universe for DC comics and like DC movies, TV shows, the like. Then you have Disney Plus for Marvel movies, TV shows, the like. So it's like, you could seriously have DC, Marvel, and Marvel Unlimited, DC, Disney Plus, and Marvel Unlimited for each different avenue. So I would prefer if you had the two video sites, fine, HBO Max, Disney Plus for your Warner Brothers, Marvel, whatever, adjacent content. And then if you're just a comic book reader, you can use DC Universe or Marvel Unlimited. I like the hybrid approach that the DC Universe went into, 2 years ago? But I didn't think it was for long anyway, just because that format.
They should call it Darvel Unlimited and just have them both.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can't take Marvel Universe, so I'm with you on that. But it's like, that right now is the best part of DC Universe, especially after we saw what happened to Swamp Thing. Harley Quinn's been really good. But, I mean, you're not putting out content as much as you want. Titans season, 2 had mixed reviews. So we're really going there for the comics. You can't just get rid of that with HBO Max and the comics disappear. So I'm hoping that they evolve into that.
Show me the comics.
I mean, that's all I'm asking. But it feels like DC put so much into it. You know what I mean? That they don't want it to go, but I feel like that's where they're heading off.
I don't think they have anywhere to stand. I think this coronavirus, too, with shutting down production of all this stuff, and who knows what kind of delay and effect this is going to have on the production moving forward. So they can't produce content the same way a Disney Plus can. So, I mean, Disney has not only their own content, Pixar content, Marvel content, Star Wars content. They all got stuff they can keep putting out. DC doesn't have that ability. So
yeah, but are you really watching all that Pixar and fucking Disney shit?
I'm not. I mean, there's a ton of people out there that are.
I tune in garbage. I tune in for like the movies and the TV shows, but like I think I don't need a year pass for that. I feel like give me a month, I catch up on everything, and then it's like, all right, I'm good. And like honestly, if DC Universe went to just comics, I would just have the Marvel Unlimited subscription and the DC Universe subscription be fine, because I could buy the movies if I really wanted that badly.
Right.
I stupidly bought 2 DC like movies on YouTube for like $4. Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, and I forgot the other one, because I thought I could download it onto my device and you could only watch it in the app, and it's the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, you can only. Yeah.
So stupid.
So you thought it was going to be like Vudu, where you can purchase it and watch it other places.
Yeah,
huh?
like I bought it. Like, it's mine. So what is it like? What is it? So and now I'm starting to realize I should have just probably. I'm not gonna talk about what I should have done, but I should have done it.
Fuck that shit.
But yeah, I think that answers to answer your question. That
no.
HBO Max is the way to go. I think moving forward for DC content.
Clop.
Because all their stuff is being released on both platforms anyway. So
we just have to hope that they continue to keep DC Universe as a comic resource. And if they listen, that would honestly be great. Because as I'm talking, I'm scrolling down, just looking at the series. And like, if you take that concept and just say, okay, we're going to be Marvel Unlimited, just this DC verse or DC side of it, I think you're good there. But we'll see. Because I think you're right, man. Like, all of it's going there, and they're not even trying to hide it. That or CW.
And I ain't trying to hide it.
I think the fact that they're pushing the Harley Quinn animated series out to Sci-Fi tells you that they're looking for help. Like they're not.
I thought they were doing that anyway. It's just going to be the edited version.
Well, I know they're putting it on when Futurama would be on.
Yeah, but even them just pushing it out, because you don't see them pushing out Titans or Doom Patrol or Swamp Thing or any of their other content to mainstream TV, but they're pushing out Harley Quinn. Why? I think it's to get their content out there. It's not. I don't think the app is
because a lot of people like Harley Quinn.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be a more draw for you to buy the network to come there to watch it instead of putting on TV? Isn't that the whole draw? Is if you got this show that people want to see, they're going to come by and subscribe to or sign up for a free membership to your service to watch that show. And now you're just giving it to people on cable television.
Perfect.
I mean,
they're still making money from it.
Yeah, but I guess what Matt's saying, and I kind of get it, is like, what is the plan? Because right now we can all surmise that, okay, they're going to take this over to HBO Max. That's where this is going. They're promoting on everything else, right? But they're not coming out and saying, oh, by the way, I mean, just beginning of this year, they ran this promo for new shows that they wanted to develop specifically for DC Universe. And they ended up choosing this stupid card role-playing game, like their Collider or some shit, whatever. And it's like, you're trying to develop more content for this DC Universe platform, even though you know that you're going to transfer that stuff over to HBO, CW, outsource it. So it's like, does the right hand know what the left hand is doing in terms of their general direction? And I don't know, DC in general, why do I feel like they are just so lost all the time?
Because they're constantly behind the eight ball and everything they do, other than, I mean, except for maybe their comics, but they're, as far as like their movies and stuff like that, they're constantly behind the eight ball. Their streaming service behind the eight ball. Like I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know what they were thinking when Disney, or not Disney, when DC Universe came out, but I think they thought it was going to be this massive platform and they're going to be able to do all this stuff. But I don't think I think they thought that maybe their interest was going to be higher than it has been.
I wonder how many subscribers they have.
No idea. I haven't looked.
Oh, like, you can Google it.
Wait, DC Universe numbers? What? Or
yeah,
what are you talking
subscriber
about?
numbers.
Yeah,
I'm looking now.
Chad, my left hand knows what my right hand is doing, and my left is jealous.
Always.
Okay. Oh man. Sheesh, I'm not.
I don't know if they did. I'm sure somewhere they've let everybody know the numbers.
All I'm saying right now is DC Universe assuring subscribers is still going strong, and that was like last year when they first announced.
Shut that damn dog up!
Right? I don't know what he's barking at.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Grizzle Geek, if you're on the case, help me out with the facts. But from what I'm looking, I'll do some more searching for that.
But that's
right now. It doesn't look super great for them. They're adding content, but I mean, they said 24% of the users are subscribing to it for a month, so it's been weird.
They're watching the content. They're not retaining subscribers. People are going there, watching what they want to watch, and then they're canceling their contracts. They're not.
I think that's what a lot of people did with Disney Plus as well.
Oh yeah, I just did it just now.
Disney Plus offers more though. I think in that terms, like I still have DC Plus or Disney Plus. What the fuck? I still have Disney Plus.
Well, like I can't talk myself into buying it for a year. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Matt.
No,
like I get what you're saying in the sense that the content for me, like, okay, if it's comics, I'll reread comics. If it's movies, I'll rewatch movies. But I'm not gonna pay $69 for the year to watch anything when I could watch it on YouTube or go watch it on D. In that sort of sense, and outside of the Disney and stuff, I mean, for me, unless I have like 3 a.m. hankerings to watch Beauty and the Beast, I mean, I've already seen.
And that doesn't happen.
Exactly. So I didn't know why do you keep, as far as Matt, keeping like you keep having? Is this a year plan, or do you just say, hey, I have a continued need for this product?
What, on Disney Plus? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's stuff I want to watch on it. If I want to watch any Star Wars movie in 4K, boom, it's right there. Do I want to watch the old 90s X-Men that you can't find anywhere else? Boom, it's there. Old
About a bootleg,
Spider-Man,
wish I had-
old Spider-Man, boom, it's there. Darkwing Duck, one of my all-time favorite cartoons, boom, it's there.
You haven't watched them all already?
I've watched Darkwing Duck probably twice since I've had Disney Plus. But it's still stuff I like to go back and sit there and be nostalgic with. Grizzle Geek says started at 143,000 and it's down to 41%. So the math, that would be like 59K.
Damn! How did you do that quick math, Matt?
Grizzle Geek did it for me in the chat. Trust me, my math
you
ain't
did-
that quick. I wasn't. I would need all my fingers and toes to count that one. I need all my fingers and toes for that one. But that's what I keep Disney Plus for, and they're bringing out new content. Like they're bringing out a Mandalorian documentary on May the 4th, and about the making of the first season with all the behind the scenes content.
Boring.
And they're gonna bring out if you want to watch all the Marvel shows to keep up with the movies, and connect to the movies, you got to have it for that. And it's $7 a month. You can't go wrong for it. Like there's so much.
I don't know. Every
content.
time I turn it on, I'm just like, I flip through. I'm like, dude, I have literally watched Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6 so many times, and I look at it, and you know where I end up? I end up watching The Simpsons.
Like Onward, when they put Onward in there, I didn't have to pay an outrageous video on demand fee to watch it. I didn't have to go try to fight people at Redbox to watch it. I didn't have to pay for it. It's right there. It's already there.
I see what you mean. I might do the month. I'm one of those guys who like to buy for the year, but I could totally see myself doing Disney Plus and then regretting it for the entire year, going like, okay, like for me, I'm very much the Marvel 90s, like you said, the stuff you can't really find, or the stuff I'm stupid enough to try to buy bootleg at Comic-Cons. The 90s Marvel stuff, boom. Like, that's me. Or the Marvel movies. But, like, I could give a crap about the Mandalorian documentary. Like, that's not something. Well, I could watch Lion King once and then be like, okay, and Darkwing Duck has nothing on me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing there. I guess your mileage may vary for those types of things. Where for me, if I'm reading comics, I know that there is thousands of comics and they're being added. The possibility of reading them all is not likely. I can rewatch
Disney Plus
how many times. Oh no, I'm talking about I'm sorry. I'm comparing it to Marvel Unlimited or DC Universe. As far as the replayability or the value continued upon, more than just where, like Matt said, he can continue to go back to that well and find satisfaction from it. Where I'll go into it like once or twice and then be like,
let me ask you this though. Disney, here's the difference. Disney Plus's main demographic, it's aimed at families with kids. So if you had small kids, would you be more invested in keeping a Disney Plus subscription? Which is more bang for your buck and offers you more value with entertaining small children in this time? Is it going to be like DC or is it going to be Disney Plus?
For being single and childless. No, I'm fine. You're right. I mean, obviously it would be.
Yes, I'm shaming you for being single, and childless.
Exactly. I feel it. It hurts.
I'm shaming you.
No, I'm kidding. No, I see exactly what you mean, man. It makes perfect sense. You're right.
And a podcast where 1/4 of the hosts have kids, I'm shaming just you.
I forgot about that. Whoops. Listen, I'm 25 old. But the point is, yeah, I get what you mean. It makes perfect sense. I guess that would explain why for me it's not as good. But then again, even Kyle agrees with me, and Kyle is one of the 1/4 with kids. So, like, I think it kind of stands to reason that your mileage may vary on that too. It's like the coronavirus kind of throwing all of the streaming things out of whack, because even with Disney Plus, you're going to get the documentary. How much more continued content are you going to get in the coming months?
Well, you're going to get Mandalorian season 2. They haven't pushed that yet, I don't think. So I think that comes out at the end of the year.
Okay. Is it done and just like waiting for release, or is it still like?
I think it's
do you think
their final?
In May,
I thought it got put on hold with all the other damn coronavirus shit.
I thought it was already shot, and they're doing the post production stuff on it. So, as far as I've heard, I don't think they've pushed it yet from the November release date. So far, they've pushed movies, and I think they're even talking about still going forward with a lot of their Marvel TV shows. I don't know how many of those have been pushed yet, but last I read, Mandalorian was still on track for a November release.
October.
What's that?
October
release. Then what's November then? November must be Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter Soldier. Tim says, Kyle, your opinion doesn't count because you don't pay for any of them.
I pay for Disney Plus. I just don't play it for DC. And actually, to be honest, I actually forgot about DC.
Wow. I mean, I don't blame you. Yes.
But that doesn't mean change the password, Tim.
I did the same thing though too. Like I wasn't gonna buy DC. The only thing I want DC for is to watch new seasons of Titans and Doom Patrol. That's it. Then I have no interest in it.
The new season of Titans, I wish I hadn't paid for it. I mean, I'm strictly for the comics, and like I'm going to buy like the Batman animated series thing, but I'll once in a while have the hankering to watch those classic episodes. You know what I mean?
So it looks like, Mandalorian season 2. It looks like they just finished filming it in the nick of time.
Yeah. See, look at fucking Kyle doing research over there.
Right at the end of March.
Look at Kyle going. He's got those fucking dual monitor set up, and he's on top of it now.
Kyle for the research.
Kyle on top of it. On top of it, Kyle.
Someone has to be.
Right? Well, that's what I get Grizzle Geek for, because he just said the same thing. He said they have work to do on 2 episodes and are on post for the rest, on track still. So,
okay.
You know, that
well,
they've got.
If you're good.
They've got the good content, and they offer you the nostalgia. So if you're a fan of all those old like Disney Channel original movies in the late 90s and early 2000s, or the old movies from the 90s when you were a kid, like The Mighty Ducks or Heavyweights or Blank Check, or anytime you want to have that nostalgia callback, that's the place to go because I have all that. And HBO Max is going to offer the same thing. Like if you want to go watch Friends.
I get a hankering about every 3 weeks to watch Blank Check.
Hey,
I don't know about you.
You never know. But, you know, they go back and
I know.
Disney Max has the rights to Friends and all these other shows and movies and
Disney Max?
Or sorry, HBO.
What's that?
HBO Max, sorry.
Don't come here for the facts.
Yeah, you got me all kind of throwing around here.
Jesus
I did say
Christ.
Disney Max.
But
But so, what do you guys
DC
think?
Unlimited Max Marvel.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Michael, stop. My kids just finished watching Johnny Tsunami, classic Disney Channel original movie, right there. But what do you guys think of? Got the news. Venom 2 is going to be called "Let There Be Carnage." What's your thoughts?
I'm hesitant.
Really? Why, Kyle?
Because Venom blew.
You didn't like it?
It was a piece of shit movie. It was garbage. The entire thing was garbage.
And did you see
I'm the
Tom
nerd
Hardy?
Venom. I'm Tom Hardy. I'm going to run around sweaty in a sweater for 2 hours. Fuck off, Tom Hardy.
And there was a picture Tom Hardy posted on Twitter of his Venom fighting Spider-Man, and then he quickly removed it. So do you think Spider-Man comes into this? And if that's the case, what do you think bringing in the vessel that brought Venom into the MCU in the first place after Venom's already established does to it?
Well, maybe hopefully for one, you actually get the Venom emblem on, because that was what I was excited for, like that big hulking white spider that hypes. But I mean, anyways, like I think bring Spider-Man, obviously there's a whole new level of intrigue and interest for it. Sure.
Add power.
Well, what I also think, and this is why I push back, Kyle, I really think that Venom, as fierce as they try to make it seem and rated R and whatever, I think that they're really, really digging into the campiness of it. Like, I don't think they took themselves seriously in that. You know what I mean? Like, they took it seriously enough to make a movie, but like, when I watched it again, the first time I walked down, I was like, oh, that sucked. Down to the song, Venom with Eminem, I was like, oh, God.
Ugh.
When I watched it again, I was like, nah, I think that they were kind of just being lighthearted with it. Even as they took scenes when they took, Bride of Venom, whatever, they took scenes with Anne having the Venom symbiote on for a minute, straight out of the comics and things like that. Like, there were moments that were like Easter eggs, but I feel like all in all, it wasn't a family movie, but it was like a
garbage movie. It was a dumpster fire of a movie.
It made a lot of money, though.
Mr. McClay.
What's up, guys?
Welcome back.
Hey. But like with Carnage one, yeah, I think it's gonna be over the top. Woody Harrelson's Venom. Carnage, I think it's gonna be corny, but I think people are gonna.
That's what it's gonna suck. That's what sucks about it. Carnage and Venom. That shit should not be corny.
No, it shouldn't. It should be dark.
Oh, yeah. So that's what's gonna make it garbage. Is exact Carnage, Denim. That none of that should be campy. None of it should be like corny. That shit should be fucking like those are badass characters that they need to not make fucking corny nor campy.
I agree 100%, brother.
And if they do it, the movie's going to be garbage.
Yeah,
Yep.
But also,
that movie should be like the hardest R-rated movie you've ever
Yes.
seen in your life.
Yes.
here's another question I have about that, though. If they're making it hard, they can't go too hard if there's a possibility, even the slightest possibility, that they'll bring Spider-Man in, because Spider-Man's tone is anything but that.
Why? It's Sony. He's Sony property. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, they can, but if they're really trying to get Spider-Man into it, they don't want to have a rated R film, and then you have to tone Venom down for the Spider-Man movie or amp Spider-Man up for the Venom movie. Well, right now, what is Spider-Man PG-13 or whatever? You have that rating. You had a rated R Venom movie that was really not, I guess, rated R,
It's
and then you put it together, and then hopefully it tempers out, because you're not gonna what you're gonna make
G for
Venom.
garbage.
You're gonna make. Would you rather have the Venom you saw in this first movie, or make Venom what he is now in the first Venom Spider-Man matchup?
I think you're thinking too much into it, because look, Venom's not gonna show up in Spider-Man 3. That they've already got that set, So you're gonna have him show up maybe Spider-Man 4 about that time. If they make a fourth one, about that time, those rights, that Disney deal becomes up, and they can do whatever they want. Whatever they do with Venom, even if it includes Spider-Man, doesn't affect what Marvel's doing with their MCU stuff, and has no weight or effect on it. So you could have them see Spider-Man rock the black suit for some reason in Venom 2, and it has no bearing on what happens in the Marvel movies moving forward. So that's why they're trying to build that whole universe around Spider-Man at Sony. That's all they've got. All they've got right now is Spider-Man stuff. That in Bad Boys, and that's if Bad Boys even does a fourth movie. So
I don't think.
I think that movies are going to be kind of screwed for a little bit, no matter what. But
Yeah,
who knows?
for sure.
It'll be interesting to see. We were just talking when I get into the top 10 a little bit later, you'll see why, but we were talking about, the difference. If you look at kind of what's going on with Spec right now, why isn't, you would think that the Carnage, first appearance Carnage, would be shooting through the roof, but it's not.
Because I think it's because it already did that when they were first talking about it before. It shot way up, and then the market got a little bit flooded with Carnage.
But I think people are so, I don't know if the first movie ruined that or not. I didn't think it was terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. But I hope that the first movie didn't ruin any spec on Carnage, because I think Carnage is one of the best characters in comics.
I found one in a dollar bin. I found two of them.
Wow. Well, you know what, Kyle? You put yours in the dollar bin for me.
It's funny. I kept one and I gave one to a buddy of mine that was a big Carnage fan. I was like, oh fuck it, I paid $1 for him. Here, you can just have it.
Wow.
And they shut up, and he's like, "Do you want it back?" I was like, "No, man, fuck that. I gave it to you. Keep it. I don't give a fuck. It's just a comic book."
Hey, when I go up there for my
And if anybody's looking to buy some, I might have some for sale.
the other thing, though, too, is that you already
Kyle,
know. You already know that Carnage is the way he comes into the story in the comics is not what's going to happen in the books. I guarantee there's probably going to be no relation between him and the Venom symbiote.
But this is why I don't think I was going over the top, Matt. I don't think that they can make him. Like, I think, like you were saying, Brian, they're already going to do it. They're already, like, you have to come out with the expectation that they are already going to do it a disservice, because they made Venom from what Venom was into what he is now. They're going to take Carnage and make him probably toned down, probably goofier. And the funny thing is that Carnage and Venom don't have goofy elements already, but they're going to go heavy into that. Maybe Carnage will have a couple of good kills or something to go, oh, wow, he's really scary. But he's not going to be anywhere near the terror. I mean, we remember his first appearance. He was going and taking people out and saying he was doing it just because he could. You know what I mean? Like, that was, even all these years later reading that, it was Amazing Spider-Man 361. I remember reading it going, oh, snap. Like, this guy's like, I'm doing it because I can't. Just some random dude. And I was like, all these years later, going, wait a second. And I know Carnage is crazy, but just realizing that, like, he has no rules. They can't. I don't think they're going to do that in this movie. But I think that if I go in expecting that they won't, I won't be disappointed.
I bet you I bet you Venom 3 is going to be called Maximum Carnage.
Oh, no, please, no.
I would be offended by that.
I honestly think that for me personally, and I'm sure someone in this podcast will scrutinize me for it. I think they should do where the first movie is Tom Hardy investigating, like doing more of the reporter stuff and investigating more of the killings of Cassidy.
Well, I'm sorry.
See him. What?
When you said that, it reminds me. No, you know how they all say, "I want Batman to be more of the detective."
Yes, I know.
I'm sorry.
You see him like, you could have more smaller villains in there, but he's kind of looking, investigating, looking into Cassidy, and you don't see Cassidy get the Carnage suit until like maybe the after credit scene, and then the next movie. But I know you're gonna see it in this one, and it's gonna probably be campy and bad, just like the first one was.
No, please.
I
have hope, but not much.
But I agree with Brian and Kyle. That movie's got to be like the hardest R-rated movie you've ever seen.
Yeah, that spawned.
They should make it closer to a horror movie.
Yeah,
it should be a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, I gotta get some ice over here.
Yeah, I doubt we're gonna get that. Unfortunately, I just don't think that they have it in them. I think the movie studios are ready for that type of movie. It's almost like when they said New Mutants are gonna be a horror movie. Where's the last hard terror? Like, when's the last time we saw a rated R movie done justice to outside of Daredevil? And that's probably because the easiest archetype of easiest archetype of like an R-rated movie to make, like the wisecracking death thing. You know what I mean? Venom and them, they have a lack of that. So when's the last time we saw a movie that was rated R marketed in that way that actually worked? They don't do that.
Watchmen.
You know what? There you go. What?
I think Watchmen was executed perfectly, and I even think that the change they made from it being a new, the change they made in taking out the giant squid, was a perfect change.
Yeah,
it worked flawlessly.
Watchmen and Dark Knight 2 are, I think, my two favorite comic book movies because of how they played out.
Yeah,
like perfectly. Like everything that they did was calculated to the perfect.
Yeah, Tim says Deadpool and Logan.
Oh, thank you, Tim. How did I forget Deadpool? I mean, not Deadpool, Logan.
I thought that you were thinking of Deadpool and Logan the whole time, but
Logan slipped my mind entirely, but I think that's because I didn't come with expectations of it's going to be real Wolverine. You know what I mean? I was kind of looking at I remember my thoughts, and it wasn't that. But he's right. Like, that was one where it was like, it's going to be dark, and it was darker than even I thought it was going to be for that type of movie. Deadpool was just, I'm sitting there going, okay, will the studio do it justice? Where I kind of knew that Logan was going to be okay, in my opinion. But yeah, that is true. I don't see that happening with Venom. I thought for a moment it might happen. Then I saw the commercial where it's like, once he said like a turd in the wind, I was like, yeah, we're not getting it. Like that's what we're not getting what I wanted. And then at the end, when Woody Harrelson with that goofy wig with the Carnage, there's gonna be some carnage. I was like, okay, we're not getting that either in the next movie. So like, there's always like a scene where I'm like, okay, I'm not getting what I want. Like,
well, and now he doesn't even have the wig. He's got like some like pompadour style haircut now, and
it's just not. I have major Kristen Wiig cheetah vibes off of that. Like, the villain in itself, the comic history, it. Like, they're actually legit. But I feel like I'm gonna get some like Jim Carrey Riddler with these types of villains.
He's rocking some real Ghostbusters Peter Venkman animated series style hair. That's what the newest pictures of him looks like. So
really,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have the like curly locks. He's got the like weird red hair. It looks really weird.
I'm gonna have to check that out, because that I'm looking at it, trying to look for it right now. It looked ridiculous when I saw it. Like, as soon as I thought, I wasn't like, some people are hyped, and I laughed.
Yeah. Carnage by Gaslight. Solo Wookie says Grease Lightning, fuck that, Grease Venom. Bam, writes itself.
God just hit me with the stray. I wasn't even expecting. Bang! Good one.
Yeah, uppercut.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But, kind of real quick before Jesse joins us here.
Why don't we do the hot 10?
In 30 minutes. Do you want to do the hot 10 now or?
Yeah, and then we'll do the hot 10, and then we'll get geared up for Jesse, and we'll start introing and talking about him, and then he should be hopping on soon after that.
I wanted to get you guys real quick opinion a little bit on
Well, fuck what I have to say.
Alex
Go
Trebek.
for it, Matt.
No, I was just trying to hit the title of the main thing of the show with Alex Trebek.
Oh, my bad. Oh, okay,
And-
yeah.
What
and
happened
then
with
we go
Alex
on.
Trebek?
So in 2016 on Jeopardy, what do you think the culture and the demographic who watch Jeopardy is? Nerds, right?
I watched
So
it.
yeah.
I would say older men
So he has a contestant on, and
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 watch
women,
and
like
he asks her.
middle-aged.
He asked her what kind of music she listens to, and she says nerdcore hip hop. So do you know what nerdcore hip hop is? Are you familiar with that genre?
Yeah, like MC Chris.
Well, yeah. So basically, so they rap hip hop songs about pop culture and comic book stuff and things like that. And so she tells him that, and he goes,
Like Baby No Money.
yeah. And he was like, she's like nerd stuff, and he goes, oh, so basically means you're a loser. And so basically he called all nerds losers. And then in this whole pandemic thing, since people are quarantined, people have found that clip and have started reposting it now and are taking shots at Alex Trebek for basically calling nerds losers.
And the poor guy's dying of fucking cancer.
No, he's done, man. He's good.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
He beat pancreatic cancer?
Yeah, he's in that 3%.
Which is why I can't get mad at him. You look pancreatic cancer in the eye and you say, no.
I'm with
I'm
you,
not-
bro.
Fuck you, I'm
You're
not
my
watching
hero.
fucking Jeopardy.
You looked at cancer and said,
What
no,
is
I'm
fuck
not
you,
a-
cancer?
I'll take fuck you cancer for 600,
500.
Alex. Yeah,
He goes up to cancer. He's like, I'm not a loser. Those nerds are.
right.
That's how it happened.
Fuck
And there you go. That's why I can't get mad at him.
Here, I'll play it real quick. Copyright strike, here we come.
Who cares?
I really don't either.
What does the 2020 census mean for Arizona?
Okay,
For your
apparently I
commute-
can't skip this
Guys,
stupid
get your
ad.
Fuck yeah.
I hate ads.
Virus and everything.
For your family. The 2020 census helps us plan for Arizona's future.
Okay, I'm not.
So
gonna
awesome.
Because I'm not gonna fucking deal with ads.
Why don't you mute it and just let it play?
There.
Yeah, I was not giving the ad myself but you talked over it. You were just being rude.
Smart decision. I apologize for being rude, sir.
I'm just kidding.
My apologies on being rude, sir. Well, you just watch this ad on
Well, yeah, you're right, Tim. You could be anything with enough money. Ask Magic Johnson.
right.
Ad plug for
But
Okay.
that's not 100% true because it didn't.
Favorite type of music.
Money wasn't enough for what's his
Her
name?
favorite type.
Apple guy.
Oh, Tim.
No, sir.
No, not Tim Cook. Steve Jobs.
Yes.
Steve Jobs. All right, here we go.
Her favorite type of music is something I've never heard of, but it doesn't sound like fun.
I think it's very fun. It's called nerdcore hip hop. It's about
Nerdcore
hip hop.
She
yes.
doesn't listen to that
it's,
for real. She's
people who
stupid.
identify as nerdy, rapping about the things they love: video games, science fiction, having a hard time meeting romantic partners. You know, it's really catchy and fun.
Losers, in other words.
Well,
Yeah, so he just
It's the
like
lowest
straight
fucking
up fucking
Baller status. The balls on Alex Trebek. You're a fucking loser, lady.
I think that came.
Fuck
He was
off.
meaning to say something different, and it came out wrong. But I'm all for it.
What do you think he meant to say?
I don't know. I'm just trying to give him a way out because I'm fucking
Benefit
an
of the
Alex
doubt.
Trebek fan.
I
I
I
did
just think
too,
it's
Solo Wookie. I did want to hear more about Arizona.
Yeah, who cares? But that's funny that he just thinks all you nerds are losers. So there you go.
He thinks you nerds are losers.
Applaud Alex Trebek. Yeah, Kyle's his favorite nerd. Kyle's the only nerd that he likes
Listen.
that isn't a fucking loser.
He told me
If
that
you
yesterday.
know the difference between what's it called? what's that one stupid movie? The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and The Hobbit.
Chronicles of Narnia.
The difference between the two, then you're a fucking loser. Simple as that.
Yeah, if you don't know that J.R. Tolkien wrote The Hobbit.
Shut up, Tim. Don't be fucking. I don't want to hear your voice of reason.
Who wastes time like that? You might as well be reading that, listening to nerdcore hip hop the entire time, but not I. Just want to put that out.
All right, Brian, go ahead. You can run down the top 10 before you want, and then we set up for Jesse, and we'll be golden.
Yeah, let's
Then
do
we're
it.
out of here. What's
right.
number 10? Number 10. So it's number 10.
This is probably
I
my
got that book.
favorite book in the whole list this week. Look how fucking gorgeous that cover is.
Dude, everything is cool about that cover.
Amazing Fantasies number 4, Golden Age book. Would you think that was a Golden Age book, just seeing it like that?
It looks
To
like
me,
something
that
Rob
looks like-
Zombie had something to do with.
Yeah, that looks like a Bruce Timm like variant cover to some indie book. You know what I mean? So look at the robot, the chick's dress, how it pops, how it looks like it's actual satin. The purple, the red, the yellow, the alien in the background, the roses. That's probably one of the best covers I've ever seen. This is a crazy book. It recently sold. It was funny because we were talking about it, and I said, man, I got to get my hands on that book. And he goes, yeah, good luck. Because it recently sold for, I think, an 8.5, which is pretty damn high grade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 8.5 is like,
For a
to
10
us,
cent
it's like
book?
a 10 is a 10. An 8.5 of a Golden Age book is like a 10 for us. So an 8.5 sold this week for $4,000. And I couldn't imagine having a book like this from the Golden Age that looks like this cover and that nice of, grade. So just to present, I would throw that sucker on my wall any day, man. It's a cool book.
My grandma called me the other day. She found some old 10-cent comics at her house while she was looking for something. So I got to go over there this weekend and see what she found.
Fuck yeah. Golden Age, man, it's nice. The only problem is it's hard finding it in good condition. Most of them
Golden
are
Age comics at an 8.5. Where it's at? Yeah. Golden Age comics at an 8.5.
Most Golden Age books are like detached covers or falling apart or so. All right, here we go. On to the next one. This is a fun one. This is Masters of the Universe. This is the series that took place in between the Marvel and the Image runs.
Dude, she has a sword coming out of her nose.
This is a Frank Quitely wraparound variant that is badass. The other side is Skeletor, and I just couldn't find a picture fast enough to throw it up there, but you can see his staff right there. This is a really, really tough book to find. It's old school. MVC Creations is the name of the company. Val Staples actually wrote it. And Val, if you guys know Val Staples from a lot of Robert Kirkman stuff. But anyways, for this is a MVC He-Man, and it's very, very difficult to obtain. A raw copy sold this week for $300.
Nice.
A raw copy.
That's
So,
crazy.
It just goes to show you, man, there's books out there that we just don't know about and could be worth a lot of money. If I saw this book in a back issue bin, I'd buy it, but I wouldn't guess it was worth more than $10.
You wouldn't think anything about it. You just, that's a cool cover. Pick it up for a couple bucks. Just throw it into a box, and it's just something cool that you got.
Yeah.
Just not
this next
8.5.
Yeah. This next one is one that's been on the list so many times I can't even count, and I'm all for it because I'm a big fan of this character. I'm a big fan of this Star Wars time period.
This is Arizona.
And
what?
Vader. I'm a big fan of Vader, man. And I want to see anything I can on the big screen about the Vader after. In between when he became Vader and episode 4. That's what I want to see.
That's part of the original series that came out a few years back, right?
Yeah, this is what this series came from. So this is this Star Wars Darth Vader run from the new Marvel books that came out a couple of years ago is that time period, and it's so much fun to watch because you got Vader is just a badass motherfucker in this comic, and this character is a great character. She's like a engineer tech that makes robots, and Vader obviously needed some new protocol droids, so she made him these two new protocol. These are the two new protocol droids. They look like C-3PO, but all black, and I think one's named Zero, and the other one's named like 666 or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
but
what's driving this book? What's driving the spec on this book?
3-6 Mafia.
Here's what's driving the spec on this book. It's 100% because there's rumors that there's a new live action universe Disney show that they're going to be basing on female Star Wars characters. And they haven't released the name of the main character, and everybody thinks it's Afra.
Oh, so this is just everybody's guess.
Yeah. And this is shot first prints of this book up to $35 a copy raw. So, and there's multiple prints of this book. I think there's like 7 prints.
I might
Tim
have
says
that
it's
book.
000 and BT1.
Yeah, 000 and BT1. So, anyways,
although here it's gonna be 666 because that's fucking cooler.
Yeah. This is a sweet book. I love this book. So I think I probably have 30 of copies of this book.
Which one? Hold on, let me see that. Oh, that one?
Yeah.
I think I've got a few.
Yeah. I was telling everybody, buy this book because she's bound to catch on. Female character, young, fucking tattoos and fucking techie and builds badass protocol droids. And then that means that if
every nerd's wet dream,
we can see some badass Vader shit, man. I want to see Vader out there kicking ass and fighting Jedis and shit. So
hot chicks and Vader. Fuck yeah.
That's the one thing everybody wants to see with Vader, though, is the him slaughtering children.
Yeah. Number 9 is this crazy One Punch Man free comic book day, and it's a bunch of bullshit why it's on the list.
Because there's a Netflix show.
Well, not only that, I mean, it's there's a lot of spec around the character, but this isn't the first appearance of the character. Basically, what happened is that key collector guy, I don't know if he made a mistake or if he was meaning to put this up, but he put this on his books to look out for list, and it shot it up to like $30 and a $30 book. And there's stacks of these books in warehouses throughout the fucking country. So it had to be some type of I hope it was some type of mistake, but
I mean, what free comic day was that? That was,
I think,
years
2016.
I think that's considered the first
years ago.
His first appearance in a comic book. I mean, he's a manga character, but the big thing with
appearance actually has this cover on it, but without the extra stuff at the bottom.
Because that's the big thing, is that Netflix has announced that they're producing a One Punch Man live action series.
Yes, and One Punch Man was on the list a couple months ago. So,
which, if you're an anime fan, it's a fantastic anime.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's a cool character. That's a cool looking cover. So
we got people in the chat wanting that book.
Yeah,
the Star Wars book.
Oh, the Star Wars book,
Brian. So you might be.
Oh yeah.
You might have.
Well, hey, I'm gonna be selling books live. Probably
we should do it live next. Dude, you fucking read my mind.
So yeah,
let's do it. I'll have a short, at least a short box by then.
When are you gonna do it?
Bring them over.
Shut up, Matt.
Oh,
wait.
I'm just playing.
What's that, Matt?
I said, when are you gonna do it?
I'm thinking about trying to do it Saturday, but we'll see.
Tomorrow or next week?
Next week. Next week.
Yeah, let's do it.
Plug it. Well, I give. Let your AG get some first cracks though.
Oh, for sure.
Always appreciate you.
Oh yeah, you know it.
Number 8.
I like that cover.
Yeah, this is a super hot book, and
it's a variant, isn't it?
It's a variant. This is the first appearance. This is Venom number 3, the Molina 1/25 variant. This is the first appearance of Null, and Null is going to be a huge fucking character, man. we all kind of thought he was destined to be huge, but I think that he's going to be like the character that's going to kind of take the place of Thanos in the movies and be like the big bad. I really think so. And I think that they have the opportunity to bring the symbiote lore in with him, to even do symbiote shit in the cosmic universe, because you have the planets out there and the first Venom the first symbiote and all that shit. But anyways, this book is super hot. It's up from $100 to $150 raw, and 9.8. Yeah, and 9.8s are $300 plus. But I really see this. This has a lot of room to grow. So
what about the regular cover to that?
So yeah, the regular cover is just as hot, but it's not selling for that much. But they're selling for a ton. So
I think about selling my entire Venom run.
What run?
That run.
You should. But I would look at the Null. You know, I might, Kyle. I'll be honest. I think if you only have one of the first appearances in Null, I would hold on to that, man. I would grade that.
Let that baby simmer.
I think that's going to be a big book. So, number 7.
I actually have it out. I already have it out. Oh, I love that cover.
Yeah, number 7 is that Darth Maul cover from last week. But it's still going up. It's up to $85 for raw now. So that's pretty cool. But it's just a beautiful book. David Aja 1 in 25 variant for Darth Maul number 2. Number 6 this week is my second favorite book on the list, and that's Gen 13 Bootleg number 18.
Dope.
This is an old book, but a lot of people don't know about this book. It is a variant, and it's kind of hard to find, but you can find it. I've passed this book up multiple times like an idiot. Mm-hmm. And these are selling right now for some reason they've jumped up from around $10 a book a copy to around $30 plus. And they're just a perfect book right now. It's super risque. It almost looks like that meme of the dude that's looking at the other chick and his girlfriend's with him, you know? So
dude, I love what everyone puts to that.
Yeah, this is such a risque cover, but it's a great Bruce Timm cover. I fucking love it. So that's number 6. Number 5 is Oz number 1, the Art Germ variant, super Daisy Duke style. It was a $5. It was a $5 to $10 book. The past couple weeks, I've seen multiple sales of 20 to 40. And, Art Germ. People are looking for cool Art Germ covers. This is the B cover. The A cover of this is a J. Scott Campbell cover.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4, an oldie but a goodie.
Oh, yeah.
266.
I have this book for sale.
For some reason, this book.
Message.
Put that out there, peoples.
Yeah, this book just seems to be. I mean, they were 9.8s were down to 350 some couple months back, but for some reason, this book is just climbing. And now 9.8s are $425, $450 books.
Mine's signed by Rubenstein and
Kubert.
Kubert. No, not Kubert.
Jim Lee.
No, I'm drawing
Chris Claremont.
That's it.
Yeah.
The Godfather X-Men.
Yep. So very cool book. But I love this book. It's old school. So number 4 is Uncanny X-Men 266. Great book. Number 3, another great book, Ultimate Fallout number 4. First appearance Miles Morales.
You got that, don't you, Matt?
Yep.
I have the second print too.
This is one of those books for me that anytime I find it in the wild, I don't pass it up, just because I love Miles as a character.
They are hard to find in the wild.
They are now, yes, for sure.
Well, a month ago, prices for 9.8s were about $400, $375. Mm-hmm. Now they're around $500. And Ben writes,
sell.
Ben writes that he still likes this book as a long-term hold. Even though there are a ton of copies out there, he says it's still got lots of room to grow.
Yeah, because Miles' ceiling isn't even attempted to be touched yet. So
yeah,
Into the Spider-Verse is just the beginning.
The toe getting dipped into the water.
Yeah, exactly.
And the amount of 9.8s of this book
It's a shit
that
ton,
there
isn't it?
are of this book compared to the amount of 9.8s there are of Edge of Spider-Verse 2. It's ridiculous. I mean, Edge of Spider-Verse 2 has so many more copies than this book. So if you think about that and you look at how crazy Edge of Spider-Verse 2 is, everybody's going for that.
I want to say Ken was just selling this book, I think, on eBay for like $90.
There's no way he was.
Well, it's not a 9.8.
No, it's not even graded. It's a raw copy.
Beautiful book, man. Great book. It's tough to find in high grade because it came in that bag.
That sleeve thing.
Yeah, so it fucked most of them up, majority of them. So, but like I said, there's very few 9.8s of this compared to this Edge of Spider-Verse 2, and this is an actual Spider-Man. This isn't like a Gwen Stacy. This is a real Spider-Man. So,
fuck those fake Spider-Man. This is real.
All right, number 2. Look at this. Gotta love this.
Oh, I know a guy that's got like 6 copies of that.
Jumped all the way up this week to number 2, and I was stoked when I saw this.
You don't have that bullshit. Boo!
Taking a nice price jump this week. Raw copies will now run you $200 plus and $425 plus for a 9.8. Why didn't I listen to that little voice inside of my head 4 years ago that told me to find a nice copy of this? That's what Ben writes. So I'm pretty stoked.
Well, he didn't ask you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Well, I'm going to have to decide if I'm going to sell them all. I'll definitely have some for sale, a couple of runs for sale. So,
yeah,
it
looks like he ended up selling it for $140 after 18 bids. The Ultimate Fallout.
There you go. So, all right, the number 1 book this week. There it is. The Venom third. I think this is the 3rd print variant of that same book that was earlier. But people are going crazy for this because they're calling it the very first cover appearance of Null. Well, excuse me. People are asking what the first cover appearance is of Null. And one came out earlier than this, but it's not as nice a cover. And then this came out, I think, the following week. But this is also has the first appearance inside the guts. So a lot of people are wanting to buy this book because of that. And it's a $100 book, right? It jumped from $50 to $100 this week. So
Jesus.
And it's going to just continue to climb. So really cool cover. People are just going crazy for it. So, yeah. Again, there's that character. That character
awesome.
Inside the guts.
Yeah.
All up in them guts.
Busting guts.
Yeah. So
Dude, I love when I see a book that I own on the Hot 10. It makes me all warm and tingly inside.
It makes me tingly when you're selling that book.
That book is for sale. It's a near mint minus. Graded. Yellow label. 2 signatures on it. Not one, but 2.
On which book? On that Venom book?
No, the 266.
Oh, the X-Men? Okay.
Yeah. But I do have that whole. I have the whole Venom run, and then the Absolute Carnage and all the tie-ins. I have them all set aside because I was thinking about selling them all.
I think you should hang on to him, dude, because Null is, like Brian was saying, Null's about to be huge, and they have the whole Null event that's coming up. This was supposed to be coming up this summer. We'll see what happens with that. But
that's right. There's a virus, so there's no events.
This was that whole Null storyline coming up, continuing out of Venom Island and the Carnage stuff. So we'll see what happens. I'd hold on to it for a few more months.
I might have to show this off a little bit.
Have you been searching for is there any more people selling the model you're looking for the vehicle you want?
No, it's hard to find. That's why I got plenty of time to sell books till I come across it.
But all right,
hey, if anybody out there has a 1970s squareback or fastback that they would like to trade for comic books, I'm your fucking guy.
You're there, yeah.
You got a Volkswagen? You want one of those Volkswagens? You want to trade me? I got comic books. Let's talk.
So we're about to have a guest come on. Kyle, why don't you go ahead and set it up for people who maybe didn't catch last week and who he is and why we asked him to come on tonight?
Everybody here, we've talked about him time in, time out. Guy is an awesome guy. He owns a local comic book shop here. He has a comic book shop. He has the Comic Book Shopping Network, which is nonstop people selling books. He used to sell new books, and it was mine and Brian's regular store for a long time. We, anytime we went comic book hunting, you had definitely a foot rub, Jason, definitely. And Jesse's is always a stop. Jesse's always been on the fringe of what to sell, how to sell it, new ideas, innovation, great deals on books. And there's just a Bleeding Cool story just came out about him catching a lot of heat for selling comic books in this time. Like it's a bad thing. But I mean, the only way you're going to make it is if you sling books. And you know what? It's awesome. Even his shipping policy, it's like up to a short box for $11.
The perfect way to answer this is Jesse has always been about one thing, and that is making his customers happy. And if you're a customer of his, he's going to do everything he can to he'll go out of his way to make you happy, give you what he says he can do he's just that type of person. So I think he was doing one of the best things you can this time is giving people, some happiness, some good stuff. I think that Bleeding Cool article or the whole thing is ridiculous. So
like how he puts it right now is all he's doing is giving people comic book therapy right now.
Yes. Amen.
Getting comics to you that it's hard to get right now. And it's great. You know what? It's great. Not only does he bring in comic store exclusives, he brings in fillers, and then after he's got fillers, he brings in heavy hitter books. There's no middle ground for him. It's everything. He doesn't focus on anything, and the cool thing about Jesse is he's always thinking. He's always thinking outside the box, and I think that's why a lot of people in the community, as a whole comic book around, they look at him weird because he's always thinking outside that box. Yes, I have this store, but how am I going to reach everybody? I want everybody to know Jesse James Comics and know that they can get comics. And that's something that he's strived and he's worked hard for, and he's done it. And you know what? Everybody thought he was crazy. Hey, I'm Jesse. I'm going to stop selling new books. And I'm only going to sell back issues. Nah, you're going to be done. But you know what? He's stronger than ever.
Is he here yet?
He said 9:05. So hopefully he had a show going on from 8 to 9.
Yeah, he just ended it.
So he should be wrapping up, and then I already sent him the link, so he should be jumping over. But it's I've said it many times on the show. Some of the best books I've gotten are next from Chuck are from Jesse.
Wow.
Like Jesse's the place where you could go in. Hey, I like this book. All right. How about this price? Are you sure? You want me to keep it? No, sir. Because it's such a great deal. But he told me something one time that's awesome. He's like, I can do two things. I can sell you an overpriced book and you never come back, or I could sell you a book for a great deal and make 6 times the amount of money off of you. Which one should I do? It's a no-brainer when you think about it like that. So, God damn it, Jesse.
Well, he's here, so I'm going to go ahead and bring him in.
There he is. Oh,
yeah.
We were going to talk about Tom Brady today.
Yeah. Oh, this isn't the Buccaneer fan club page? What's going on?
You found us. You found us.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, brother?
We had just finished an amazing show. We sold a little over 400 books in the last 2 hours. So, it's a matter of just getting out there and you got to sling and you. I think if you go out and you sell books, I think you're good to go in this day and age. So,
yeah.
You know what I was talking about before you came on? You're out here at a time where a lot of comic book stores aren't even selling books. You're selling 3 times the amount that a normal comic book shop did during a good time. What is your philosophy to that?
Well, I think the big thing, folks, the big thing that you want to remember right now that's going on is, I got to make sure all my hands are going here. I'm Italian. You got to see my hands. Which direction? There we go. The big thing going on right now is, you got to keep in mind, I've been doing this for 2 years. So this isn't like something I just came up with pre-pandemic. And you also have to understand the biggest thing that's going on is the comic book industry and LCSs were in major trouble before this happened. And so I think the pandemic actually might have slowed down what was going on with 500-600 stores that possibly could have gone out of business just selling new issues. So what we decided to do was we decided to create a fan base that was comic-centric, needed back issues, and it was a notion that we were then show them a plethora of stuff, anywhere from ElfQuest to Iron Man to Crash Dummies, which we sold tonight. Or last night, our number one seller was Black Belt Hamsters. So
I was so mad that I didn't get that.
Yeah, and now they make the announcements today with Cyberfrog. But at the end of the day, I think the reason why we're so successful is because we said we were just going to sell comics. And if we sold $1 comics or $2 comics or $200 comics, we would be able to take care of all those orphan customers around the world that didn't have comic book stores. Now, none of them have comic book stores. So now we have this network, Comic Book Shopping Network, which has 20 stores across the nation selling over 10,000 books a week, folks. 10,000 books a week. No design books. So imagine when new issues come back, you have your back issue fans, and then you have 17 stores selling new issues. So I think why we're successful is we stayed on the positive side. We're not one of those stores out there bashing people and bullying people. Listen, when you're on Bleeding Cool and people are yelling at you for selling comic books, I think you're doing a good thing.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. I think it's funny when people are giving you shit for doing what your customers want, you know? So one of the things that we were talking about before this is how one of your staples is the customer. You make the customer happy. That's the whole reason that you're doing this. You want the customer to come back. We've talked about you on the show many a times that we feel you're probably, when it comes to customer service, the best comic shop in the country. One of the things that you did a couple of years back, which was kind of surprising, but we see now what's going on, is you took the step to decide to sell only back issues. You weren't going to sell any new issues, and people kind of went crazy about that. What were your feelings at the time when that was going on?
I woke up one day and I said, listen, we have 460 box holders. Our bill every week was 8,000 to 10,000 on a good small week. If we did exclusives, then that jumps up to the 12, 13,000. So what we decided was basic business 101. I come from corporate, and I kind of said, listen, if I spend $10,000 to make $2,000, that doesn't even cover anything. But when I was buying a collection for $1,000, I was making $9,000 on it, even the bare minimum of markups. So what it came down to was the basic concept of, was I going to be a comic book store owner who loved comics and sold books, or was I then be a businessman who just sold comic books and made margins and turn rates and sell-throughs and bottom lines and all the things that you use in Business 101, and was it going to make sense? Me calling 460 people to tell them I wasn't going to sell them anymore, trust me, was not an easy decision. But when you talk about customer service, we're the only store in the comic book industry history to win Best Practice Awards for Best Customer Service. How do 1,400 store owners vote on a store that they've never been to and give them Best Customer Service Award? Well, it's because of our name and our reach and outreach and all that. On eBay, we are the number one ranked store on eBay for customer service. We have 85,000 feedback. We have never had a neutral. We've never had a negative. Customers come first. Everybody that has been talking about anything. Yeah, exactly. Everything that has been talking about everything. Listen, I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say it. Brian Hibbs up in San Francisco, who goes with these long things, never ever talks about their customers. It's all about them. So when people are making decisions and they're saying, we're going to do this and you can't do this, and if you don't do this, it all comes down to, so you're not going to sell your customers new books. You're not going to sell them DC books or whatever books that they're charging at that time. Customers want books. Let me tell you something real fast here, folks. Out of 10 years or 8 years carrying new issues, let's say we had over 700 box holders, nutritions, left, gone, or all this stuff. I've never had someone walk up to me and say, hey, Jesse, before I open up this box, who do you get your DC comics from? It's immaterial, folks. So I think going out there, selling your customers, listening, and making strong decisions. I knew I was going to be on an island. One thing I want to point out, that when we left Diamond, we were the #1 seller for every single independent publisher. We were selling over 1,200 Walking Deads a month, Rick and Morty's, all that, Oni Press. So when we left, the #1 selling store in the nation had left every independent seller, their #1 seller, gone. And so, listen, at the end of the day, I'm a very thick-skinned person. I think you have to be thick-skinned. And I think at the end, maybe 2 customers didn't understand why I left.
I thought you were
but other than that, business is business.
You're lying. What are you messing up before? When are you going to stop selling new comics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question. You were Jesse, you had mentioned your philosophy as far as, for the people, as far as your business, and I know Kyle had, like, what a novel concept. Why do you think it's so hard? Because I'm sure we all have had experiences with comic stores that cater to the customers and then those that cater to the bottom line, and we all experience with that. Why is it so hard for yours? You would think that if this is the kind of culture you want to have, and you're catering to your fans and the shared love of comics, that some can kind of see past that, promote that love, and like you are, doing it with the customer in mind and really trying to look out for them, while other stores are just about the money. You can kind of see it from the jump. Why is that such, from your perspective as a store owner or operating a store, why is that so hard to kind of manage for some?
Well, that's probably the easiest question for me to answer. Listen, I come from corporate, 60,000 employees. Nordstrom, customer comes first, no matter what. You buy something at Macy's, you bring it back, you want a refund, I'm going to give you a refund, even though you didn't buy it from me. Here's the problem in our industry. How do you qualify to become a Diamond account? You have a store with a lease, you have a tax resale license, and guess what? That's it. How you paying? Cash, check, or charge? No one coaches you on how to do this business. So you go out there, you're getting your comics from Diamond. No one's sending you tutorials. No one's sitting down and saying, hey, Jesse, a customer came in. Listen, I'm the most secret shop store in history of Diamond. A traditional store gets shopped once a year. I got shopped every month. Why? Because they couldn't figure out how he was selling so many books. How there's no way he could be selling that many Walking Dead. Let's sit in the secret shop room. Listen, you treat everybody with kindness. So at the end of the day, the answer is no one's coaching these people. You go into any job and they give you these guidelines and what their goals are and their mission statements. With this industry, it's where's your rack then be, and make sure you put your new issues on there. Done. And so I think our job is to inspire. Our job is to coach, and our job is also to say, even though it's not my store, if I hear something, I'm going to call that guy and ask them if they need help, and he maybe not even understand what good service is. Good service, and I always say this, isn't a handshake. Thank you for buying books from me. It's everything before that, and it's everything after that. Cal, Brian will tell you, listen, I won best customer service. Why? Because I had a membership card that gave points to customers so they could get discounts when they hit $200, right? You got $10 off your purchase. I was on stage in Diamond when I received that award, and they said a simple thing to me. Where did you come up with this concept of the point system? And I just laughed. I'm like, I didn't create this, but that's the industry we're in.
I still have it.
It's very hard to change an industry that's set in their ways like that. With what's going on right now, do you think that with the pandemic and kind of how everything's happening right now with online sales, do you think that, and with everything going on with Diamond, do you think that maybe we could see a change because of what's happening with this pandemic?
Well, you've already seen a change, and the change is this. You got 70% of the store owners following four senior guys in the comic book industry who say, listen, we don't like this, so you can't do it. And so what happens is that 30% goes up. Well, we lost someone over on the top there. The 30% that are selling comic books are pushing, and they're selling comics, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and they're signing up with DC and Midtown and DCBS. And the only thing they're saying is, listen, we got to sell our customer comics. And then you got the other half saying, we're not going to sell DC comics unless Diamond sells them to us. So the change is very simple. Customers are going to remember two things. They're going to remember customers that stores that took care of them today, gave them great comic book therapy, which is always our goal. Comic book therapy is the goal of any store. And then they're really going to remember the stores that said, I'm not going to sell you new issues. I'm not going to sell you DC comics because it's this or that. I wish people that made these strong decisions and knew the laws, the rule of law on how to wholesale and distribute. So at the end of the day, will these two new companies expand? Absolutely. They'll break the monopoly. I can't say too much, but there's a third distributor coming out, and that's going to encompass a whole bunch of new changes as well. Listen, I don't care what happens. The only thing I know is that I need comics to sell my customers. I've been very loud about this. I will be carrying DC Comics. For a store that said he wasn't going to be carrying comics, I'm going to carry DC Comics. Why? Because several stores in our state has decided not to. And we need to provide a service to our customers and get them their comics. So is there a change happening? It's already happened. But what happens is it's kind of like the variant thing. Everybody, variants. But variants are only 2% of the overall business. Right? But we make it sound like it's 98% of the business. And so it's the same thing. So the changes happen. Listen, I'm not a guy that sits there and says, I did this and I did that. I always say we. And at the end of the day, I am where I'm at because the customer base has decided to support me around the world. And it's been an amazing ride that's just starting. I have fantastic allies. For someone that's left Diamond, I talk to almost every company every single week except for Marvel. Well, I talk to DC now, so I don't talk to Marvel, but I talk to all the publishers every single week for 2 years straight now.
And it's funny because, you left Diamond, but you still have a relationship with Diamond, right?
Right. Yeah. My relationship with the Jeppies, I think, is second to none. I don't think anybody's ever said to me, oh, my gosh, that guy's going against the Jeppies. I talk to the Jeppies once every 3-4 days, whether it's just an email or Steve Jeppy actually watches my show on Comic Book Shopping Network, drives me nuts on the binge bar when he comes in. It actually makes me sell stronger because he's they're trying to get comic book therapy. He's done this 38 years. He wants to see someone selling dollar books and cool books that he sold or back then. Union #1 was our biggest seller today, which is a 90s book that is it's a foil cover, which is hilarious that we sold out of those. But again, to me, a customer walks in, everything is new to them. If you haven't presented it to them, it's new to them. So the notion that new issues drive your business is actually, if you look at it at a business sense, if I said new issues are predominantly the biggest part of the industry, you wouldn't know a thing about the industry because more back issues are sold than ever new issues. Then you take pre-pandemic 400 plus conventions that sell back issues. Plus then you add eBay, then you add Amazon, then you add web pages. Stores open 7 days a week, flea markets, HA, Heritage, who's selling $20,000 million books. So in reality sense, the smallest part of the business, which only did $550 million, is new issues.
Yeah.
And here's the final point on that. That's $550 million sold at wholesale. So that's not even telling us, okay, out of that $550 million, how many of that stuff was actually sold?
Yeah, it's probably sitting in a lot of warehouses.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, Action 1000, let's just say 1 million sold wholesale. I can tell you right now, every store has a ton in stock. So maybe only 500,000 sold. And so you got to keep in mind, I tell this to everybody. Every store that comes to me to be mentored, I say a simple thing. We're the only industry that uses wholesale numbers as the reality numbers. If I walked into Blake Nordstrom's office and said, Blake, I just bought 5,000 LeBron James pink tennis shoes or sports shoes, whatever, high tops, he would say to me, that is awesome. How many did we sell? Well, we haven't got them yet. He would say, get the hell out of my office, and when you get my money back, let me know. But in the comic book industry, sellouts are at wholesale.
It doesn't make sense at all. Another thing that is so crazy is that when you stop selling back issues, I don't think your store saw a change in. I think you probably had more people coming to your store when you quit selling back issues and you proved.
You mean new issues?
New issues, yeah, I get it.
New issues. My bad. You proved the fact that back issues are what people want and what people are buying. Like you said, you're selling more books than ever before, and they're back issues. What is there anything that could cause a major issues? For instance, if we see an issue where less comics are distributed, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
Well, the whole goal is to sell comics. So it doesn't matter if you have new issues in your store or back issues in your store. Keep in mind, everything's about bottom line margins and turn rates. So if you buy something for $1 and you sell it for $3, that's a great thing. But if you buy something at wholesale that's brand new, that has shelf life of only 1 week, because after a week it becomes a back issue and it becomes non-valuable to someone who only collects new issues. Let me back up here. The worst, I'm going to say this, even though it's going to come out wrong for someone who's pro comic book, taking care of customers, number one, customer service, is the worst thing that can happen is a customer walks in and says, oh, I'm here for my pull box. You hand them the stuff and they say, okay, ring me up. It's the worst possible scenario a comic book store owner has. That comic book store owner, in reality sense, isn't making any money. So whether they go buy a soda or whether they go look in your dollar bins, whatever it is, you have to add on to actually make that money when you're selling new issues. Also, keep in mind, this is the struggles that new issue stores have. Let's say my bill is $2,000 and I get my $2,000 bill in. The same day you get your invoice in, and your invoice next week is $5,000. But wait a minute, I only got $2,000. So even if I sold that $2,000, that's only $4,000 selling 100% of everything. I'm $1,000 short. So you're always chasing them. Free comic book day comes where they charge you 3 weeks before, and it's like, these are free books. Why am I paying 3 weeks before? So we will always have an abundance of comic book stores. We will always have abundance of stores selling new issues and back issues. We'll have stores selling only new issues, stores selling back issues, and stores doing both. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to who buys the best, who's smart. I'll give you a prime example. You want to sell to me, don't ever tell me about returnability. If I have to rely on returnability, that means that book's not good. You should have the confidence to say, you don't need returnability because you're going to buy 10 copies, you're going to sell out. Just don't buy more copies. Telling someone it's returnable so they buy 20 copies and then you have to wait a month later to get your books back. You have to tear off the cover. Who's going to do that? So at the end of the day, comics are here forever. All right. Comics aren't going away. I will tell you, I think some of the greatest things that happened, comics going into Walmart, I think that's been fantastic. It expanded the comic base. It's expanded the customer to say, wow, $7, $8 for a book, I'll grab that. They walk into a comic book store, they see the dollar bins, or they see $3 books, or new issues are only $3.99, so it expands that base. Digital comics. I think digital comics is one of the greatest gifts in the world because it tells us that we have to work stronger to keep our customer base to buy floppies. And so that's the challenge we have. People that fight digitals, tell that to their customer base. Don't tell them to the customer base. Tell them why they should have a real copy in their hand. And so I think all these things, Midtown and DCBS distributing comics, who cares? Get the comics to the customer. And so I think that's kind of the answer in the end is comic books need to open up their doors. They need to sell comics, and they need to look past the politics, and they should only be looking at their customers as the answer to everything.
Amen.
So when you decided, hey, I'm going to stop selling new books and I'm going to sell old books, I'm going to sell back issues, were you like, you hadn't decided to even do them live like you do them now? So when you had made that decision, were you like, what am I?
You can just say it, dude. Just say that months before you told me to do live shows, and I said to you, that's FUBAR. No one buys live. Just say it.
No. That's not what I was getting at.
Tell him, Jesse. Tell him.
I love it, Jesse. I love it.
So funny. No, that's not what I was getting at, but I was like, were you actually nervous? Were you like, okay, how am I going to retain these customers? Are they going to come back? How am I going to get these books out here? I know I already sell on eBay. I know I already do a great job, but what am I going to do? I know you sat down with all of these, like Copy with Comics and everybody else, and you sat down with them and you were like, what are we going to do? But like, how much planning went into what are we going to do? We're going to make this shopping network. How many meetings? What all went into that?
So the creation of Comic Book Shopping Network was created 3 years in Baltimore, and I had just spoken on to all the store owners and all the publishers and all that on stage, 1,200 people, and going over philosophies and literally saying the opposite of everything that I knew people wanted me to say, because I come from a different egg and I sell differently. And so I wasn't that hold back. I also got to speak publicly about customer service and social networking. At that time on Facebook, I think we're the third or second largest Facebook page for comic book stores. I think we're fourth right now with 48,000. The Secret Stash above us, Third Eye, and I forgot who the third person is. There was one more person above us. And so afterwards, I sat down, and the person next to me was Jen King from Space Cadets. And we decided, instead of going out to party and all that, we decided to talk. Now, keep in mind, I still carry new issues then. We decided to talk about what would we do if there was no new issues tomorrow? What would we do? And we said, well, how would we approach the customers? And Cal was coming in saying, you got to try this live show stuff. And I really wasn't getting that. And so I started watching shows, and I started to realize, okay, that's kind of cool. And so one day, guys, don't even ask me this because I'm not going to tell you why. I was watching Home Shopping Network, all right? And this lady was selling this watch.
Regardless.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thumbing through, and she was showing this watch. And I was watching the clicker, and they started down to 1,000. This is the best watch we've ever had. It's black, gold, silver, made from elephant's tails, whatever it was. And so they sell out. And they sell out in whatever, about 30 minutes. So she goes, all right, we sold out. So she grabs the next item. This watch is the best watch we have ever sold on our history of our show. And I'm thinking, but you just said that about the last watch. And all of a sudden I saw the numbers start going out and they sold out. And I said, well, why couldn't you do that in the comic book world? Our customers want to buy. Not every customer is going to go to a convention or have a comic book store. So when I set out and I talked to Jen King about this, we had 2 stores that would try this with us. And I started doing my shows, believe it or not, at 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. And that was our time slot. We didn't want to go against anybody.
So mad forever. I think I told you this more than once, that at that time I was working construction. I had to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was so pissed because I couldn't catch a show and buy books.
Yeah.
It was mad.
And we were selling 1,000 comics, 1,200 comics. We were just talking about this today during those 4-hour periods. And so we started to expand, and we started talking to stores and trying to get them in the concept mode. And not everybody understood that concept. And so at the end of the day, what happened was we started to get some traction. Of course, I have a very big brand name. Me personally, most people know me. We started to build our customer base. We started to expand our stores. Now we have 40 shows a week, 95 hours of live shows during the week, over 10,000 books sold. But it's just like anything else. You go into something and you just don't think of anything negative, and you let it fall off you, and you push forward and you sell. Did we not understand shipping? We figured out shipping. Did we lose some people? We gained some people. And now we look at, we're the biggest force in the comic book industry. Anybody wants to challenge me right now, we'll compare numbers to numbers. And we will show you that when new issues come back, we have 17 stores on the Comic Book Shopping Network that sell new issues. There's no company out there that owns more than 10 stores. So it's brand building. It's understanding that you got to take chances. And the biggest thing is when someone tells you you can't do it, you do it better.
Matt, can you share my screen real quick just so I can show the viewers Jesse's page while we're talking?
Yep.
So another question. So when you went to these stores and these other people, like you said, you're selling tens of thousands of books. You went to all these people and were like, hey, I have this. What do you guys think? Was there convincing? Was there like, were you selling them, or not just selling it, but just like telling it, or did you not have to tell them much and they were just like, fuck yeah, I'm down to do this. This sounds great. Cause I mean, you've got Jimmy J selling on there for Amazing Con. Like he's on there selling books. And like,
we have sure. When you look at our LAM or our family or team on Comic Book Shopping Network, it's amazing. The logos are up there. Coffin Comics, Brian Polito, and Third Eye, one of the top 5 stores in the nation, and Space Cadets. And you go through all these people. We have 2 grassroots stores on there that started from grassroots. They don't even have stores. They do it from their garage, and now they've moved into their rooms, fun stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't think I've ever had to convince people to sell comics. What I had to do was convince people that we could sell comics. And if we could sell comics and create a bar that was accessible, I don't tell anybody to look at my show. I tell people don't watch my show. My show is, if you're looking to do this and you're seeing someone selling 400 books in 2 hours, that's probably not the show you want to set your standards on. You want to be able to look at the most basic shows and say, can I sell $100 bucks? Can I do $200 in 2 hours? That's $100 bucks an hour. And so it's for shows to have that accessibility, I think is great. It builds brand. It builds how to speak to customers, being in front of them, talking to, keep in mind, here's one prime thing that most folks don't know. You're watching a show right now. That number in the corner does not reflect how many customers are watching the show. When we have 60 people watching, that's 60 of my friends, that number. My average show has anywhere from 500 to 700 viewers per show watching.
That eye in the corner is just that people that are friends. Your friend.
That has nothing to do with your viewership. So next time you guys come in, I'll show you the back end. You will be amazed at how many people actually watch our shows. So the goal is so that's why when you kind of watch a show and someone says, oh, they got 160 viewers, I'm like, well, yeah, but they might have 1,000. But it really comes down to, are you selling books? Are you getting comics? My show is the binge bar. My show is set up as a bar. We have happy hour specials, and people come in and they talk about their families. You create community, and you, at the end of the day, when I leave this, whatever, 10, 20 minutes ago, there's still 4 more hours of programming on Comic Book Shopping Network, which is crazy. I think it'll go all the way 1 o'clock in the morning. Sunday start at 7 a.m. and we go to 1 a.m. all shows all day. What's crazy is you can watch a show and see the same person on every single show buying at least one item. Our retention is amazing. So at the end of the day, do I have to convince someone to come on Comic Book Shopping Network? Absolutely not. 5 weeks ago, I talked to over 100 stores about how to do live shows. Never even pitched Comic Book Shopping Network to them. It's not my job to pitch Comic Book Shopping Network. My job is to get stores to survive and stay in business. The more stores out there, the less pressure it takes off me. Because listen, you guys know this. You get past 20 buyers in a show, you're basically screwed. You guys were on that show where I did $5,000 in what, 10 minutes? Mm-hmm. I had to stop my show because I had all the keys on there. And so this is a learning curve that happens per second per customer.
Yep. I love the fact you talk. Another thing that I want to bring up that Jesse always talks about that I love is he always talks about karma. One of the things that I've learned from Jesse, he really believes in treating people well, and if you treat others well, it'll come back on you tenfold. You know, and time and time again. Not to stroke Jesse off on the show or anything, but
I get
no. We say this even when you're not on the show.
Yeah, and one of the things, you know, people say, well, he stopped selling new issues. You know, he couldn't have thought, you know, his customers must have been pissed. You know what he did for his customers that might have been buying books? He set them up with other shops. Yeah. He was the first person to call the other shops. A lot of other shops here in this valley have great relationships with Jesse because I've seen people come in and ask for other shops, and he'll sit there and name off every other shop in the valley. Go here. Which way do you live? Da, 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 da. He's always one of the first people to put out help for other shops. So if you are somebody that might be thinking about starting up a comic book a shop here in the valley or something, there's no better person to talk about than Jesse. On that topic, what do you suggest to people that might be thinking about opening a brick and mortar shop?
I would suggest them selling shoes. No, listen, at the end of the day, you would have to be crazy to open up a comic book shop. If I'm not going to, let me rephrase that. Would I do this again if I knew all this before? I probably wouldn't. And the reason why is no one's there to help you. And when you open up a franchise, I mean, you have guidelines that they literally say, if you don't follow these guidelines, after a week, we'll just give you your money back, get out of here. And I think in the comic book world, you have to be thick-skinned. You have to be able not to rely on anybody but yourself. And the people that do offer you help, like me, I'll help anybody in the nation. That doesn't mean I'm right on everything I tell you, but I will tell you the 2 things you have to do if you open up a store. You can't be married to your product, and you can't be married to new product that comes in. Oh. All right? That is the number 1 rule in the comic book world. The second rule is this. I am an Overstreet advisor. I'm a senior Overstreet advisor. That doesn't mean that I charge what the price guide says or what eBay says. What I charge is what the customer can afford so that they can buy more product. So if I do my show, and people always laugh at me, oh, you should be doing $200 books. And I literally say, listen, your $200 book that you had on your show took you 20 minutes to sell. Within that 20 minutes, I've sold $300 books. So I've actually made more money than you, and I've made more margins for you. So at the end of the day, I joke around, you know, I wouldn't open up a comic book shop. Now, in all reality, right now would be the worst time to sell it. But let's forget about the pandemic. If there was the pandemic, it comes down to a simple thing: how you then do social and how you then do e-commerce. And if you can get those down, then it doesn't matter where your store is at. You could be, hey, listen, my original store was in the catty corners of a mall that didn't have anything else in it but 3 stores. And I was the farthest back possible. Why? Because I sold to people across the world. So I think someone who's getting into the business has to know how to do those 2 factors first. Listen, I'm one of 2 stores ever to have an eBay exclusive with eBay, who approached me to do Star Wars and Power Rangers. All right. Why? Not because of my brick and mortar. It's because our outreach to customers around the world was superb. And I think so because listen, there's not a comic book store owner in the world who wasn't selling comics before they opened up the store, whether it was with eBay, trading with their friends, or whatever it is. And what happens is you open up a store and you forget all about that. And so I will tell you, if you then open up a store, it's about set up your social networking now. Set up your e-commerce now. That's the most important part. I have an 8,000 square foot store. Right now, my business, 98% of it comes from 100 square feet. Before the pandemic happened, 98% of my business came from 100 square feet. So at the end of the day, listen, people come in, they pick up their product they want on the show. They come in, they shop, they spend more money. So we have to do better than being just a destination store. We're not, I mean, Little Caesars delivers now. Someone finally said to Little Caesars, dude, imagine how much more money you would make if you delivered your $5 pizzas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Get the book to the people that want them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's a prime example, and I've said this to everybody, and I'm not going to shy away from this. A comic book fan is then go wherever the comic book is that he needs. He's loyal to a store until that store doesn't have what he needs, and you should celebrate that. I've called stores to ask them if they have it for customers. I have no fear. Let me tell you my philosophy real fast on this. Your customer will not know your service unless he shops someplace else. He will not learn to appreciate your service. He will not appreciate, hey, people came into my stores, where's your long boxes? I don't have long boxes. I do everything buffet style. It's all on the floor, not in order. Here's your stack of ROM. If you want ROM, go through that stack, whatever it is. Why? Because we knew people shop by taste, touch, feel, and this is what I had when I grew up. And so I just think at the end of the day, our job is to inspire our customers to buy more comics and to help them find comics when you don't have it. It's a very simple concept.
Yep. Well, we appreciate you, man.
I'm sorry. I think Jesse told me before that more than once that I needed a time card for a while.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, keep in mind, Wednesdays are a day where you know when a customer comes in. Oh, 3 o'clock. This person's in. Oh, this person comes in at 3:05, 3:10 to pick up their comics. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's kind of cool. But I want to be the guy that someone walks in on a Thursday night, 11 o'clock at night, just looking for comics. That's the person that's then spending the most money.
Yep. And it also creates the community. You have a real community aspect of your store. On top of doing the comics, you also have something that just blew me away the last time I was in. And your arcade is kick-ass, man. Old school arcade. All the kick-ass old school pinball machines, some of the best pinball machines in the Valley, some of the best old school arcade. Like, I couldn't believe going in there and seeing some of those old school machines. And then on top of that, you also have a great place for people who like the like a Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. You have a large group of kids and people that love going to the store, being part of that group. So you've really created a community, as even though 98% of your business is sold online, you have a great community aspect to your store. Right. Especially here in Arizona, worldwide.
I think a community store should encompass more than just what people expect you to have. And by having, 45 arcade machines in here, pinball and Galaga and all this stuff, and having gaming, one of the largest gaming stores in the nation for Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Force of Will. It's an amazing thing. What you want to look for when you do your business is crossover. And crossover is very important. How do you cross people over from the kid playing Pokemon? He turns 16. He wants to, I want to go over to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or he wants to buy his first comic book. Dad's in the place waiting. So his dad sees something. So I think at the end of the day, you create a community that surprises people when they come in. If someone walks in your store and says, wow, look at all the comics, well, you better have them say, wow, look at all the comics, because that's what you are. You are a comic book store. So I think give customers more than they expect and continue to strive to do even more. So will we surprise people that we will be carrying DC Comics? Sure, I'm sure we'll surprise people and all that. But at the end of the day, our goal is to sell them much more than just DC Comics.
Do you have anything coming up, anything super exciting in the plans that you can share with us? Anything cool?
We are doing something that hasn't been told to the public yet. When we do it, we will let you guys know. Trust me, we'll be on every single. What's going on?
Nope, you're good.
I just lost my page.
I think he froze.
Damn.
Am I there? Okay.
Oh, there he is.
there.
He's back. He's back.
So I want
I'm there. Sorry about
to
that.
back up a little bit.
Yeah, you there? I'm back.
Go ahead.
Okay. So what we're doing is every single website will be talking about what we're going to announce in about 5 days. It's the first time it's ever been done. We have a plethora of publishers doing this with us. It deals with customer appreciation, has nothing to do with Free Comic Book Day. But I will tell you, we have big plans that will blow people away. But at the end of the day, if we do not give back to the customers, the comic book industry is screwed. And so we have decided to take time out of our time to do something that no one is not even talking about. And so I think that's very important. I will challenge people watching this show to go to Philip Sablik. He is the vice president of Boom. He did a great thing about taking care of your customers today. Nothing in the background said Boom. He never mentioned Boom. The customers there's no other time in our history that the consumer controls what happens in our future. They are going to make choices on, do they spend money with comic book stores over the next 5-6 weeks? And I think it's very important that people know how to look at people that are trying to strive to sell comics and stay away from negativity versus the ones that are creating negativity. Listen, I'll give you a prime example, and all of you know this. Everybody has bitched about Diamond for the last 8 years. There needs to be someone new. There needs to be someone that won't lose comics or damage comics. Someone actually comes out to do a better job, potentially, and everybody's bitching about it. So you're not going to make comic book stores happy no matter what. So I think it's making these customers happy, letting them control our future. And if they control our future, I think we will be fine. Listen, I've bought 16 stores since I've been in Arizona. Back in the day when there was 30 stores, and every single customer every single store I bought, if they just took care of their customers and watched their bottom line, they'd still be open.
Mm-hmm. It's hard.
Yep.
I have one random question real quick.
Sure.
That's not random. It's going to lead to another question.
Yeah.
No, it really is. Okay. Earlier, Jess, you mentioned one of the keys is not being too attached to your product. Either what you already have and also what you get in. Right. Has there been something for you personally at any point that you were like, I mean, you weren't attached, obviously, but you thought about for a second, I was like, I don't know now. Like, was there like one item for you that you may have like hesitated for just a moment that you were like, oh, that's pretty good?
Well, I about 5 years ago, I bought one of the largest collections of all time, which was every Marvel comic ever made and every DC comic from 1959. So the answer is about 50,000 copies I wanted to buy. Yeah. So at the end of the day, when I was carrying new issues, if I wanted something, I ran my credit card and I bought it. You can't take candy out of your own candy shelf when you're trying to sell them for a profit. You have to put money back into the till for it.
Can't get high for own supply.
Exactly. And so I think every day it happens. Every day when we're showing a book, I actually stop and I say, oh my gosh. Here's a prime example. I started selling comics in a comic book store in 1982, folks. 1982 is when I was selling comics in a comic book store. 3 weeks later, I was watching the line for Jack Kirby. When I wanted a book that we sold out of, I went to my eBay store. Well, in 1982, 1983, 1984, and 1985, there were no web pages. So what was my eBay store? My eBay store was the spinner rack at Circle K and 7-Eleven. That was my eBay store. And so I would go in and find the comics I needed. So we just have evolved. At the end of the day, we know the 16 million people that signed up for Netflix last month. Guess what? When all this ends, they're not closing their 16 million accounts on Netflix. They're going to say, wow, this is awesome streaming. So we're going to lose some of that to that. And I think the same thing will happen in the comic book world, but it's about gaining people. And if you gain people, which is the best way to gain people is word of mouth, keeping your brand out there, staying on top of things, staying social. Listen, I'm live on the air, I think 24 hours a week. Solid, the most viewed person in the industry as far as live shows go. Listen, I'm going to say some stupid stuff. I'm going to say some great stuff, and I'm probably going to disagree with a whole bunch of people. But at the end of the day, I'm informing people, and I understand my opinions are my opinions, but my opinions come with facts, and they come with real numbers.
All I know is if Jesse James says, buy that book, you fucking buy that book.
Yeah.
Buy two of that book at least.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. We've done over 277 store exclusives, the most in history of in most history of the comic book world. That doesn't mean we know how to do exclusives. That just means that we are then go out there and we are going to, when Rick and Morty came out, guys, you guys know how much people gave me the biggest, what an idiot. Rick and Morty? Who does Rick and Morty exclusives? Bob's Burger? Never heard of that. 11-piece connecting covers, Power Rangers. That's crazy. Shirtless Verified number one, the fastest selling number one exclusive of all time. 500 copies sold out in less than 2 minutes. So at the end of the day, I can also tell you another cancel. I bought 500 of those 5 years ago. I still got 497 copies. So at the end of the day, you got to get out there, folks. So my thing to everybody is enjoy what you do. And you got to get away. Turn off your phone. Stop watching the news. Read a comic, and you'll be happy. The greatest thing in the world is a comic book fan walking out your door with a bag full of comics. There's nothing better than that.
Amen. And you can get them from Jesse James Comics. That's for sure.
Comic Book Shopping Network.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jesse.
I got one quick question.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Before you leave. So we had a discussion earlier today about, so Diamond's a distributor. DC is going to have a couple more. DC has printed some books again so that these other distributors can distribute books. Are those still first prints?
Absolutely. So Diamond does not control FOCs. They control FOCs for Diamond, and that's it. They don't control FOCs for DC. So DC has allowed many of us, and I will tell you, folks, these people that are saying very few stores there, then be surprised. I know the numbers of how many stores are doing this. These stores have placed orders with DC. The printer are going to print these issues for them. So those are first prints. At the end of the day, you know how many people actually care if it's first print or second print? 1.5% to 2% of the people care if it's first print or second print. Most of them just want the comic to read. Most of them want consecutive issues. Most of them don't even know what second print means. So at the end of the day, if people are looking at barcodes to see what number the barcode says, if it's first print or second print, they're probably not comic book fans. They're probably slingers, they're probably flippers. Listen, at the end of the day, it's all FUBAR. The guys there are saying, oh my gosh, this is a conflict of interest. That's why you have two different names for both companies so that there's no conflict of interest, so that they could ship those books. So you're not getting them from down Midtown, you're getting from UCB and Lunar. And so at the end of the day, I think we have created conversations that don't matter to 98% of the people out there. So at the end of the day, I truly believe the winners of all this are the winner of all this is going to be the bean counters, right? Because AT&T owns DC. AT&T is looking at DC saying, how do we make a profit? Oh, we don't have to pay 30% or whatever they pay to Diamond to ship our books. We can just go to a company and pay them a shipping charge fee for doing our job. So now our profit margins go up 3-4 times. And guess what? Bean counters look at AT&T and they'll make other decisions, right? Because it's about making money. And if I can save my company $3-4 million every quarter, and then I can bring in my other company and save another $4.4 or $5 million, then do this. Here's the bottom line, folks. DC Comics can talk directly to me. They can coach me. They can do whatever they want. They can send me extra product. If they send me a poster through Diamond, they have to pay Diamond a fee to send that free poster to me. Guess what? They can send it to me for free. Props, all this stuff, direct conversations, less shipping, because guess what, folks? I'm not supposed to say this. I'm going to say it on your show right now. Diamond charges you per box, not per weight. You have 200 books in that box, or you have 15 books in that box, it's one price. Lunar, UCB, they are charging you per weight, which means you are going to save more money. And that's the key for any comic book store, is to sell more and make more money. When I email DC or a Lunar, or in my case, UCB, I keep on calling all these different names, I get a response within a minute. And that's so awesome. That's very important to me. So keep your eyes peeled, but try to think as a traditional comic book fan.
Are you traditional know the difference between Diamond, the book that Diamond sends you, and the book that one of these other companies sends you?
No. And if there is a difference, I would say that would be a no-no. If you start messing around with your barcodes, that changes
like paper everything. Or anything like that.
Well, yeah, because listen, how are you going to scan that book in? Are you telling me that comic book database and all these things are going to have two different barcodes to scan in? That doesn't make any sense. So at the end of the day, if it traditionally is a second print, it will say second print. It will say 2 where it's supposed to say 2.
I mean, cut and dry.
Yeah, cut and dry. At the end of the day, there shouldn't be. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. I've done this for a long time. DC Comics makes the announcement, blindsides Diamond. Diamond immediately comes out and said, we are shipping books mid-May or at the end of May, and their next sentence is, but times can change. All right? So you got to read stuff. And if you read stuff and you understand they had to come out with this thing, they have no idea when books are going to ship. So all these stores that are waiting, all these other stores are getting their books weeks before these other stores. Customers just aren't going to wait. They're then go to the stores that have the books now. It's a necessity for them. When I used to, it's amazing how many people would be at our door at 9 a.m. in the morning to get their new issues, because even though they had a pull box, for some reason they thought it would be sold out.
I don't know how many times I called and I was like, you'd answer the phone, you go, hey, Kyle. I go, hey, yes, that's in there. I already put it in for you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just knowing the customers. Yeah, you need to know your 460 pull box holders. Just like a new customer walking in and watching them and figuring out what to sell them to make them happy. So, but at the end of the day, guys, I'm just going to tell you this: don't read into more than what is being said, other than reality, what is being done. That's the only thing that matters. And if you start reading into this futuristic stuff, you are going to be behind on the game. And it's about what is being done today. DC is selling comics. We've already placed our orders for 3 weeks out. We are happy. We got our Batman 92 first prints. We're happy. We're going to have all that great fun stuff. I don't care about the rest of what those other guys are doing. I just know that when I get my books, I'm promoting socially in San Francisco, in states, New York, that these customers aren't going to have the ability. That's just being a salesperson. You got to go out there and you got to take care of customers. When those stores get the books, the loyal customers will buy those books from those customers. But at the end of the day, a customer with books in their hand is a happy customer. I'm going to leave you on a final note. Okay. Most customers that buy in the Comic Book Shopping Network, the binge bar, don't even get their books for 30 days. Yet they're buying 200, 300, 400, 500 books from me in that amount of time. People want the confidence to know that they're eventually going to get their books. They can do their checklist and they want to buy more books. They don't want to read a story about negativity because that's immaterial to them. And so shows like yourself that foster goodness and foster collecting comics, I think that's where our victories are. Choose your allies well. And so that's pretty much all I got, other than me losing my voice after 3 hours of talking at a fast pace. So,
well, how about you plug the shit out of your Comic Book Shopping Network for everybody, so everybody out there, and then everybody out there on Monday who downloads us can know where to find you.
Awesome. I appreciate that, guys. And just a quick note about Comic Book Shopping Network. We have a 94% increase in viewership over the last 7 days. A national average for a store with women customers is 5%. We're at 13%. Numbers that matter. It's very important. 10,000 books a week. That's a lot of books to sell a week collectively to people that have no idea what we're going to show. So everybody, I really appreciate your time on here.
We got to get you back on in the future, man. We appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And thanks for not only being
on to talk about anything you want. Just let us know, and you've got carte blanche to come on and fucking talk about you want.
Sure.
And thanks for not only being a comic book store owner and that, but thanks for being a mentor for us. We really appreciate it, brother. And we'll catch you next time.
You don't know how many times I've said, but Jesse says this, so this is what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Alien Bounty Hunter, folks. Don't forget. Have a good night. Talk to you later.
Right. Thanks, Jesse.
Okay.
That was great, man.
All right.
Gotta love Jesse, man. Good dude. Make sure you guys go check out Comic Book Shopping Network. I'm sure he'll be on more in the future.
Yeah, I hope so. It's fun listening to him talk. It's not even a drop of the bucket of things he has to say about the comic book industry. And we didn't even get into what I really wanted to get into.
Well, you got your question in there.
Yeah.
And I really, when I was talking about him trying to form this live Facebook, I wasn't even truly prying at me like for credit.
I know, but it was great how he did that. It was hilarious.
Oh, dude, but I didn't really like, and it did. I hounded him for a long time. Jesse, look at these motherfuckers. And this was like right in the beginning where there's only a few people doing it, and I was like, it's the same thing I would tell Brian. I would tell Matt. I was like, and I would be like, I would send links and be like, watch this shit. These fucking people are killing it. It's insane. And it was just this because it was, as far as people say, I hate live auctions, it's the way to go because it's there. You got it. That impulse, that want is there, and it's live and it's yours. And Jesse was like, I don't know about that. And I was like, dude, I'm telling you, man, once you see what these people are doing, you're going to take it. You're gonna fucking figure it out. You're gonna run with it. You're gonna make it better, and you're gonna do what it needs to do, and it's gonna be awesome. I don't know. And then same thing. He came to me and he's like, I should listen to you a year before. And I understand, man. It's a leap of faith that you're taking. You're putting yourself, just like we do. We put ourselves out there. That's what he's gonna. That's a hard thing to do. Go on live and to sell. You're putting yourself out there. Like, what do you do? How do I do this? Like, how do I do these books? And I get it. And like I wasn't like Jesse's like, I need to look at this from a business side. Like, will this like hurt my business? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I look at it as a dude that, I just want to go out and sell comic books. I don't look at it as like, I didn't look at it as a business. I just look at these motherfuckers on here killing it. By the way, if you want books, I got them to sell. I want to buy a Volkswagen.
We're sponsored by Cal's Comics.
Shameless plug.
Man, I don't know how many times. I mean, like when me and Brian would sell comics, I don't know how many times I said, "But Jesse does this." But Jesse said this, and I don't know how many times I've said it to Matt too, and I've said it to Brian, and I say to everybody, "But Jesse says this," and I watch what he does, and I listen to what he's told me. Like, and the cool thing about Jesse is, I remember walking into a store the first time, and I remember seeing these pile of fucking comic books. And and the cool thing about it was him, his dad, who passed away. What a good man he was.
Amazing.
And it was so cool. You walk in there, and it's like Ken's store too. You walk in, his wife's there, his daughter's there. It's cool. But you walked into Jesse's, it was his mom was, slanging comic books. His dad was, I walked into the first time, and they had these mountains of comic books. His dad's got a laptop, and Jesse had a laptop, and they're fucking going after it. What is you laughing at, Nubia? And I was like, hey man, I'm looking for these books. I got them online. And I was like, what do you mean? Wow. What do you mean you got them online? He's like, go on eBay. And they're just sitting there just like in this crazy corner that was just stacked up with books behind this glass case. And I was like, okay, I'll go on eBay. But I'm standing right here. Like, I didn't even understand it at the time. And I went home and I was like, holy shit, it's there. Bought them. Came back in. Hey, I just bought this. Here you go. Thanks, Jesse. And I just kept going in there and going in there and going in there. And it's awesome.
Wow.
If you guys aren't buying books from Jesse, then I'm honestly, you're missing out.
For sure.
You really are.
Talking, and it's such a great collection, and he knows so much. I mean, I feel like, and I probably will, sorry, my throat's hurting, like rewatch that whole entire interview and just pick up even more gems than I missed. Forget the bathroom break I had, but like just in general, like that wealth of knowledge along people like your guys who I consider just very, very knowledgeable comic guys in general. And it was like, geez, what a treasure trove of knowledge. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I was just sitting there taking everything he said in. Like, I didn't have a question because I was just soaking everything he said as far as business goes and everything like that. Everything he had to offer, I was kind of taking in and thinking how you can apply it to something like we do, or anything moving forward.
Even
the cool thing about Jesse is if you ask him a question about something, he's going to answer you about it. Hey, I don't know how many times me and Brian walked in there and we were like, we want to do this, and he's like, this is how you do it. This is what you should do. Hey, buy this book. No one's going to buy Rick and Morty's, Jesse. I'm not going to buy that. Ha 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 ha. Hey, you should buy that Monstrous book. Nobody's going to buy Monstrous, Jesse. Ha 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 ha. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't know how many times. And then it got to the point where I was like, after a couple of those, Jesse's like, buy that book. I'm like, okay. I would just buy it. Like, but I mean, Jesse is such a good dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And if you say, and I've said this 1,000 times, if you say, I don't know about that Jesse James, that means you don't know him.
Mm-hmm. True that.
And I don't know for how many years now I have said that exact thing. Good dude, good information. And he just loves selling comics to people. It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
There's nothing cooler than I would love it, and I wish he would do it more. And I know it's hard right now because the store isn't technically open because of this coronavirus and stuff. But I remember getting that text. I've got a collection. Be there in 5 minutes. Brian, Jesse got a collection. I'll be there in 10 minutes. And it's just awesome. He just, hey, Jesse, why don't you put these online? Why? You guys are sorting them and buying them right now. Why do I need to put? I'm not doing any work.
Yeah,
Chad, 100%. You're missing out for sure.
Wow.
You sure you want to sell that to me for this price? I can keep it. Oh, no, I'm going to buy it.
What a show. I'm breathless after that. Wow.
Dude, Jesse, dude, he's just the knowledge in his brain is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that he doesn't mind fucking letting you know that's cool. Because a lot of people like to keep that, and I'm sure there's shit he keeps secret, of course, but being that open, he doesn't mind sharing information to help you get better in more ways than one. I mean, that's fucking cool to me. Because not a lot of people do that.
True that.
Is Brian frozen?
No, I'm looking at an Amazing Fantasy 15 just in awe.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
But, yeah. It was cool, man. I'm glad Jessica finally came on.
Yeah, it was very informative. I think there's things in that interview that you can take and apply to different areas in your life, not just selling comics, but as far as business in any sense that he kind of dropped.
Mm-hmm. Even his take on the industry in general, and like you said, the back issues and where this all comes from, it was just wow,
Oh man, yeah, the conversations I've had with that guy are insane.
Even his take on the distributing issues that Kyle just had to get that dig in there to twist that little nugget to make sure that he was, he was right. In a hypothetical situation where we're starting a podcast about a conversation, Kyle had to make sure you all know he was right at the end. And
well,
that's great.
And I posted this. What do you think, Jesse?
Yeah.
Like, and he didn't have. He didn't
skip a beat. Yeah.
He didn't. It wasn't something that he had talked about. It's nothing that I had talked about with him. What do you think? What would Jesse do? I'm just playing.
Well, and again, at the end of the day, he said it doesn't matter. Like, people are going to get their books the way they get their books. So it was very informative. But congratulations! I'm glad that you got that dig in there.
I had to, man. I had to. I wasn't trying to prove that I was right, but it is that cut and dry.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's not as clouded as everybody's trying to make it. It's pretty cut and dry. It's a pretty simple thought. I don't know.
I agree. I bow down to your greatness, sir. I'm in
Sir,
awe.
that's a great statement.
I'm in awe of Kyle's greatness.
Hey, I'm a simple dude, and I was looking at it. This just bare bones.
Corbin and I concede to your greatness.
We have no chance.
There is no great.
Brian gets void because he was doing the hot 10 when this conversation took place, but
yeah,
we bow to your greatness, sir.
There's no greatness. I was just looking at it as that's the way it is. There were so many Spawns printed. There were so many New Mutants 98 printed. You don't know what wave that was printed. You don't know if it was the sixth printing of the first printing of it. You don't know. How are you going to know about this?
And I mean, and I like his stance too. Like, I think his stance is really, it's kind of direct and in your face. Like, he's catching shit for selling comics in a time during a pandemic. And why is he? Why should he be? Like, that's what you got to do. You're out there slinging comics. Guess what? If people didn't want to spend the money, they wouldn't be spending the money. So I don't get why he's catching shit. And all these other sellers are catching shit for selling comics right now.
I'm just pissed it's not as easy for me to buy comics from Jesse as it once was. It's the only thing I'm mad at him about. It was so much easier when I could just walk in and dig through boxes and take what I wanted. Now I have to try to be quicker with my internet connection to get the books I want from Jesse. No, sir. I want to go in there and just pick my books. Hey, Jesse, I don't care if you're going to sell these later. I want these books. All right, Kyle. Thanks, Jesse. No problem, Kyle.
I'm glad that you two just had that conversation right here in your head. I'm glad that just got worked out. You saw it right here go down live, the conversation between Kyle and Jesse.
Oh, man.
I was hoping Bruce Campbell was going to be watching tonight.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love you, Bruce Campbell, but goddamn it, you don't know shit about signing lunchboxes.
You guys need to put that that video. We got to put that video up on Instagram.
Yeah.
And at him.
I saw you did on Facebook today.
I tried.
It's not that funny of a discussion.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
I didn't watch it again.
It's good.
It really is. So
what's next?
Fuck you, Bruce Campbell.
Fuck you. Bruce Campbell, you can suck it.
Yeah, suck it, Bruce Campbell. Suck it. Yep. And I thought for sure that the perfect part to end it at is when Tim was asking you if you had the thermos signed too, and you're like, nope. And he's like, your story sucks then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nubia says he'll just block you.
Yeah. Bruce Campbell?
Yep. He'll just block you. Bruce will block you.
He loves me. We're best friends.
Well, I mean, that's it. I mean, we're
busy.
Running in 2 hours. Do we want to end it on a high note with Jesse? Do you guys want to get into a little bit more stuff? I mean,
I'm about out of it, my friend.
Jesse was a good topper to the show.
Yeah, I like it. It was the perfect top. And I mean, I'm like I said, I wasn't just talking. I'm definitely gonna watch back that whole interview just to stop up some stuff. Not what I missed, but just in general, because it was.
If you guys haven't gone on already, and
everyone say hello to Adonis. I think he's on Facebook. He's writing in the chat. Say hello.
What up, brother?
What's up,
why
Adonis?
Don't you come on the show? Should just came on.
Adonis, miss you, man.
There you go.
We love Adonis.
So
I'm Adonis.
What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say, Kyle?
About what?
I don't know. You started saying something before I said something about Adonis.
Oh, I was just saying, if you guys all haven't went and joined the Comic Book Shopping Network, go do it. It's you're not gonna regret it.
There you go. I want to do
Rick and Morty's about three or 4 months ago, and I bought them all because I was like, you know what, I'm not fucking doing this again. And they're just sitting there. I haven't even picked them up. I forgot.
He says, "LOL," because I went to In-N-Out. I don't. Okay. I hope it was delicious.
I'm sure.
Win. I personally think In-N-Out's overrated, but
so do I. The fries suck.
In-N-Out or Five Guys?
Dude, it's a good, affordable meal, man.
Five Guys is more expensive.
It's cheaper than McDonald's.
I like Habit Burger.
It's expensive.
I hate In-N-Out's fries. I can't stand their fries.
Yeah, they're garbage.
And Adonis wants to know, Kyle, shoot Adonis a message on how to get into the comic book, into Jesse's thing. He's asking.
Just go to Comic Book Shopping Network
on Facebook.
There you go.
And I think you have to answer a couple questions. Do you like comic books? Yes. Okay, you're in.
You made it seem like it was a lot more than just one question there, Kyle.
It's seriously or it might be, how long have you been collecting comics? It doesn't matter. If you love comics, they want you there.
And that's cool. That was kind of just.
And Brian showed everybody what it looks like. It's comic, and it's a lot of stores from around here. Samurai's on there. There's so many fucking people. It's awesome.
I agree that Five Guys is pretty lit. I'd take Five Guys over In-N-Out.
Dude, In-N-Out's the bomb.
In-N-Out's okay, but Five Guys.
Yeah, burgers are good, man.
But
a good burger.
One thing I want to talk about real quick before we leave is, remember, guys, next Friday is May 1st. Or next Friday is May 1st, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So next Friday is May 1st. Remember, I know they were on a few weeks ago, but Rascals, Greg Schoen's book, their Kickstarter stuff kicks off next Monday or next Friday. So we'll have the links to that. I asked him for links today to share with everyone, but he said that they're still trying to finalize all the Kickstarter stuff and the tiers. So we should have links for that stuff next Friday if you guys are interested in supporting Greg and his new book and venture. But yeah, you got anybody else got anything else before we kick it off here tonight?
If anybody wants to join the Clutch Collectibles Discord group for
send me a link.
Hit me up on Instagram, and I'll send you a link. And I've sent you guys fucking links. You guys just don't enter it fast enough. Motherfuckers. Like a third time. God damn.
Adonis says, burn that spliff, Brian.
All day, every day.
There you go.
I just sent that to Jesse.
We're not worthy. He thumbs up it. That's awesome. So yeah, that'll do it, I guess, for this week's episode, guys. Again, be on the lookout next Friday for the Rascals Kickstarter stuff if you want to support Greg and independent comic creators.
If you want to buy books from me, hit me up.
If you want to buy books from Kyle to help him build his project car, hit him up.
Keep an eye out for live auctions coming soon.
Yeah, live auctions coming soon. We'll address that too. We're gonna try and
kind of dress.
What up, Corbin?
I got to plug. Check the spinner rack Sunday night.
Yeah, Corbin's plugging that.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Okay. I'm sorry.
We're changing. It's gonna be different. It's
informal. We've been working behind the scenes.
Here,
house crunches tomorrow. We have a good weekend.
Right now, I'll tell you right now. The next episode of Spinner Rack. This happened on this panel.
Nope, no, sir. No, sir. That is an incorrect statement.
I have the book in my hand, but I can't really remember what happened. But it was a really good book. You guys should totally read it.
Incorrect statement, sir.
I just did a full episode of Spinner Rack. You're welcome.
No, sir. Let's just say that now that there's no new comics to review, it's going to be playing more into the Tales part of the name. So we got more stuff coming.
This is a really good old comic. And then this happened. Read this old comic that I just did.
Hey, this is part of our thing. We're trying to grow. Stop shitting on your own on something that's affiliated with your own show. Yeah, don't shit where you eat, bud. That's all I'm saying.
I don't eat on that show.
It's part of everything.
I don't eat on that show at all.
Don't do that when you're drinking.
Yeah, don't shit where you drink either.
Or
don't piss where you drink.
This Sunday, I'll be on Spinner Rack with you guys.
Oh shit! There you go.
No, I'm fucking lying. I'm really not.
No, he won't. He won't. 100%.
Not even a little bit. No.
Dude, you had me hyped. That's not cool.
I'll give you a tip or an insight into what we're doing on Spinner Rack if you're watching live this Sunday. We are taking any Marvel character in the Marvel universe and making our top 5 perfect Avengers team, in our opinion.
Yep. I have a roster full of Black Panthers. Wakanda
already out. Well,
oh, come on, Kyle. It's going to be fire. I can't wait.
It's going to be
I think that's a cool idea. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Thank you.
Fucking just stoned, Brian. It's not.
I am.
Fuck you, Mr. Negative, Kyle. You know what? Don't buy books from Kyle. Don't help Kyle get a car. Don't do anything for Kyle. Fuck this negative asshole. Fuck him and his stupid car. Don't buy shit from him. Don't buy shit from Kyle. Fuck that guy. He has fucking clown shoes. Do not buy anything from Kyle. All right?
I love it.
No, dude, I'm just joking. I want to. If Spinner Rack's going in a new direction, I would love to be on it and fuck around with you guys. It'd be awesome.
Wasn't even gonna bring it up because I knew I knew Kyle was shit all over it, and then Corbin just jumped on me, over me, and
sorry, I was just excited to share.
Corbin fucking leapfrogged me.
It's
Spinner Rack.
You gotta come on. It's you've gone through some stuff.
On this page, I can't remember the guy's name, even though the book's in my hand. He says
Dude,
he was
mute this guy.
special.
Mute this guy.
And then in this panel, what happens is stuff drops from the sky, and on this page, I don't know who this guy is. I can't remember, even though I just read it.
Don't buy shit from Kyle. Fuck Kyle. You can buy shit from Brian, but don't buy shit from Kyle.
So yeah, fuck Kyle.
I'm just joking. You guys all watch Spinner Rack. It's a good group of
Fuck
guys out there.
Kyle. Don't try to backpedal now, goddammit. You've already said your piece. You've done your damage.
You were good until you went and did mine. We're like, I don't remember the guy's name. I don't remember all the creators' names. I'm sorry.
Actually, I remember Jay saying that. He had the book in his hand. He's like, I don't remember who this person is, but they said something about work. Motherfucker, the book's in your hand.
That's right, Adonis. Hashtag fuck Kyle. That's right, Adonis. Hashtag fuck Kyle.
It's on, Adonis. It's fucking on.
No, I had a day where it was Batman and Beyond, and I forgot the page, like the fourth page, and I was like trying to like buy time to get to it. Created by it's a great Batman book. We're trying the best we can. Okay. No, real talk, Matt and Jay have been true. It's been a crazy. Anyway, Matt and Jay have been up all this way. We got a revamp coming. It's exciting. It's gonna be a great episode.
Yeah.
Now because of you, I'm gonna get messages from Jay being like, "Oh man, I guess I suck at podcasting, huh? You son of a bitch."
Just ruining our self-confidence, Kyle. How are we gonna get
We're sitting here talking about how Jesse builds people up, and you're shitting on people over here.
That's Jesse.
If Jesse's on it, he'd be like, a great way to do comic podcasts is not to go something happened on this stage, but I don't.
Sounded like a Far Side song for a second there.
No, everyone check out it. Good group of guys.
Nope, fuck it. It's too late now. That's why I didn't bring it up, Corbin, because I knew he was gonna shit on it. I was just gonna let it be like a thief in the night and release it and let him come to me about it. That's what I was gonna do.
Well, then I'm really glad I didn't say that Couch Crunchers was tomorrow too. I was trying to promote everyone. Just now. Nothing. I was trying to promote everyone, and I realized when I said that I didn't realize it was gonna be a big thing. Because listen, Kyle, you should come on. It's a great show. Good group of guys, but it's a good show.
I'll be on Couch Crunchers tomorrow night reviewing Brigsby Bear.
Of course you are.
Fantastic movie.
Check out Couch Crunchers for the movies.
Fantastic movie. We're gonna start doing 2-minute movie reviews too with Kyle. We're gonna have Kyle do 2-minute movie reviews.
It sucked.
There it
like,
is.
Every movie.
I watched it, but I can't remember what happened. So this one guy did this.
Excuse me.
Yes.
That's the Far Side song.
Oh.
I'm just fucking around.
Anyways, you son of a bitch.
Wow. I love the NPR style of comic book spinner rack.
No. Where I'll be like, yo, check out this hit rad book. Colors by news about this over here. We hype, yo.
It makes it even more effective when your internet cuts out.
End with the show. No.
I was just gonna let it go, Corbin, like a thief in the night, and wait for Kyle to come to me about it.
I was different line song. Nothing to plug. Absolutely nothing to plug.
It's all right. It's all right.
I'm going to bed.
See, Spinner Rack is going to be the show that makes it. It's going to be the show that everybody wants to watch.
All shows take their time. Okay? Watch. I have some sick digital codes I'm ready to give out coming up. It's going to be fire.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. You'll never hear the end of that from Kyle.
We're going to give away free digital downloads for all. You're going to digital download. You're going to digital download.
I don't even have to give them away now. I just post a picture of the movie on Facebook, and they come to me. Hey, if you're not going to use that digital download, hook me up.
It happens once. And a guy from another podcast.
With me.
It happens once.
I haven't done it since the last code I gave away because you gave me shit.
Because it's stupid.
Maybe to you.
I got a free digital download, but I'm going to keep the movie.
Hey, that's $15. Somebody else doesn't have to pay to download it.
There you go. You guys think positively, Kyle.
27 likes. I'm going to give you this free digital download.
Hey, 27 likes are $15.
I like it.
Hey, man, what did we learn from Tiger King?
Nothing.
You know, Being straight is cool and all, but 20 tigers is 20 tigers, all right? That's 15, you know.
We can get 150 people in the show. I'll give you a digital download.
I've never done that. Come on.
I'm going to buy a movie and I'm just going to
realistic. Let's be realistic here. Anyways, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch, Kyle.
I take it back.
What?
I shouldn't. Maybe he said I shouldn't be like that, so I take it back.
You're getting yelled at. Now you're getting yelled at.
You get a digital download. You get a digital download.
Anyways. So guys, thanks for checking us out tonight. Make sure to check out the Comic Book Shopping Network. Make sure to check out Jesse James's eBay store. It was scrolling across the bottom. I'll put it in the links in the description as well. Grizzle Geek has brought up to us about kind of pairing up and doing some special podcasting event later this month for the month of May. So maybe we'll
hear about that.
Talk about that. And I told you about it. You just don't remember because we talked about it last week.
No, we didn't talk about shit.
I didn't hear about this.
Exactly, Corbin. Exactly.
Yes, you will. So guys, thanks for checking out us
cool
this week. Yeah,
So
I talked to you. We'll talk
said,
after the show because I definitely talked to you about it.
Well, no one said shit to me.
I'm Matt. I'm the controller of the podcast. All right,
check out Spinner Rack, y'all.
Oh, God. All right, guys. Thanks for checking us out tonight. If you had a good time, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you're new to the show, make sure to turn on those notifications so you get notifications when we go live every Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Arizona time on YouTube. If you're listening to this back on Monday, please make sure to leave us a review and subscribe to the podcast, as those reviews go a long way and help us see in the podcast standings. And again, next Friday, May 1st, the Rascals Kickstarter goes up. So if you want to support Greg and local creators, it's a great way to do it. But for this week's episode,
he's not a local creator. He's in Japan.
He's a friend of the show. He's part of the community.
There you go. That's better.
Friend of the show. But for this week's episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast, I'm Matt.
I'm Donald Trump.
I'm the Grizzle Corbin for the fats.
And this dog wants to go on a fucking walk so bad that she's jumping into the show. I'm Brian.
And Abby. And we'll see you guys next time.
That's so funny. I didn't drink that much. I like 1 can of Red Bull.
Hold on.